have gotten off to one of their best starts in franchise history. The Yankees have struggled. In April, it was their pitching. In May, it was their hitting. And now with visions of the rocket on their horizon, they're in Fenway. Winners last night. Round 2 today, next on Fox. And welcome to a hot and muggy day in June in Fenway Park, Boston, Massachusetts. The Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is right there, but you're going to see him in just a second. If you are a fan of sports or you are a fan of theater, you should enjoy today's game. There's really no telling what we're going to see here in round 2 of this 3-round fight between the Yankees and the Red Sox. Heck, we may even see a fight. Who knows? But, Tim, we do know this, that as the Red Sox and Yankees tangle here today, the Red Sox are running away at the moment with the AL East, and the Yankees have one thing after another that they have to contend with day after day.
I think over the last 2 months, the dreary first 2 months of the season, the Yankees are painfully finding out that there are worse things than losing in the first round of the playoffs. As far as their pitching is concerned, they have Roger Clemens coming back on Monday. That's going to be a huge psychological lift. You have to figure the Red Sox have had their rotation intact all year long.
It is a matchup today of two veteran right-handers, Mike Mussina and Curt Schilling. There is so much to talk about. And, by the way, a baseball game will be played here between the Red Sox and Yankees. Glad you're with us. Should be fun. It always is. When Boston and New York, when they get together, this time at Fenway. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fox Saturday Game of the Week Baseball. Mothers and fathers, boys and girls, I'm glad you can join one of the great rivalries in baseball between the Boston Red Sox and, I got to say, our New York Yankees. Leading off for the Yankees today is Bobby Brayu, our right fielder. Our shortstop and captain will be Derek Jeter. Our third place hitter will be Hideki Matsui, our left fielder for the day. Alex Rodriguez, headed for the All-Star game, 19 home runs, will play third base for us and hit cleanup. George Posada, leading the American League and all of baseball, will be our catcher today, batting fifth. Robbie Cano, our second baseman, hit .342 last year. Not off to the great start yet, but he will certainly get there. Our switch-hitting center fielder will be Melky Cabrera. Doug Minkiewicz, our all-star fielding first baseman, will be out there for us today. Will Nieves will be doing the catching, and our designated hitter means that it's going to be Jorge Posada, because will be doing our catching. Our pitcher today will be right-hander with all kinds of ways of getting people out: knuckle, curveball, fastball, changing speeds, Mr. Mike Mussina. Thank you, Reggie. You don't even need us anymore. You got everything you need to know about the Yankees from Mr. October. The lineup for New York, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And here's the right-hander Curt Schilling, who is 5-2, coming off a 10 strikeout performance against Cleveland. And with that record, ERA, his best start in his last 4 was his last time out, as the Red Sox took 2 of 3 from the Indians. And for the pitcher profile, brought to you by DLP HD TV. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. Here it is.
A man over the last 3 years who has been 26-6 here at Fenway Park. He's releasing his splitter differently. When he struck out 10 Cleveland Indians on Monday, he said it was the best splitter he had in 5 years. He doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but he locates much better.
We are rapidly approaching the opening pitch. And when that time comes, it's sponsored by Budweiser. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. There was a little bit of controversy last night, actually a lot, because there were 5 hit batsmen in the first meeting between these two clubs last night. And then, as you might expect today, prior to the game, a lengthy meeting, the umpires meeting at home plate. Jerry Crawford is the crew chief in the middle. He ejected Joe Torre on a separate situation last night on a call at third, but there's no doubt, Tim, that group is talking about the potential for knockdown pitches or hit batsmen today. Lowell was the first guy to get hit. He's back in the lineup today, by the way. Cano got drilled. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, Euclid gets flipped on a pitch up and in by Scott Proctor. The interesting thing was Joe Torre, who was run last night by Jerry Crawford, wasn't in on that meeting. And Terry Francona, the manager for the Red Sox, wasn't in on that meeting moments ago. Instead, it was Andy Pettit.
and bench coach Brad Mills.
And that was the most unusual thing about the meeting at home plate, was the fact that Joe Torre and Terry Francona were absent. They'll be the ones most affected if something happens today, and I can't see anything happening, at least initially.
This is the 5th time this season that Bobby Abreu is hitting in the leadoff spot, as Joe Torre has elected to go with a leadoff man of Abreu in right, Cabrera in center, and Damon, with his bad legs, is on the bench today. Giambi, the typical DH, is on the disabled list as Abreu hits it down the left field line into the corner and out of play. So the count stays 0-2. As you look at where Bobby Abreu is hit in the lineup, you see Joe Torre has tried to move him all around while he has struggled with an average of 234. He is 68 points below his career average of 302. And there have been some scouts that have seen him that have said he looks like a completely different hitter, like he has no clue at the plate here in 2007.
Well, 2 months into the season, when a guy as good a hitter as Bobby Abreu has hit in 5 different spots, you know he's having problems.
0-2 is the count. Schilling. Abreu into left. Ramirez makes the play. 1 out. One last note about that meeting at home plate prior to the game. Sometimes managers, and you know this better than I, will give the lineup card to a coach, will give it to a specific player as something for them to do before the game. It was Andy Pettitte who got the lineup card for the Yankees. Andy Pettitte's a current player and is saying nothing in this meeting and really doesn't have any position to say anything, while Brad Mills, yeah, it's not Terry Francona, but he's a bench coach for the Red Sox, had all of the conversation directed at Jerry Crawford, and Pettitte was just standing there listening.
Andy Pettitte pitching tomorrow night and concerned about the first base umpire tonight or today, who will be the home plate umpire tomorrow night.
It's Chris Guccione.
Yeah.
0-1 is the count on Jeter, who is 7th in the league, hitting .340. But if you want to talk about the 5-hit batsman last night, or Alex Rodriguez, who was hitting cleanup for Joe Torre, and the myriad storylines involved with his life in and around and outside baseball, there is so much going on with the Yankees. While they eagerly anticipate the return of Roger Clemens on Monday, he was at least ready to go if they wanted to go in the direction of pitching him in this series at Fenway Park, but Joe Torre liked the way his pitching was lined up and elected to work him Monday against the White Sox. Winners last night 9-5. Wong was the victor, and Tim Wakefield, the knuckleballer, could not get through 4 innings. The 0-2 to Jeter. Ball 1. This Yankee lineup over the last month has been basically carried by 2 guys, Jeter and Posada, who is #1 in the league in hitting. Cano has been better of late. Rodriguez, who was on fire in April, had a dismal May. 1-2 pitch. Well hit into left field over the head of Ramirez and off the monster. Jeter will turn it into a double. Ramirez, who plays that wall so well for a guy who sometimes looks like he's just mailing it in out in left field, he really plays the green monster well. Made it pretty close at second base.
Schilling trying to come inside to Derek Jeter, and the sound, the resonating sound off the wall playing. It is not often that you hear the sound as vividly as we just heard it off the green monster, but Jeter hit that ball awfully hard.
Now Matsui will dig his way in. Last night it was the Yankees who jumped out in front 3-0. The Red Sox tied them 3-3, and then the Yankees put together a big inning, up 9-3 and won at 9-5. Chance here in the first inning to grab a lead, and Matsui pops it up. Willie Mo Pena, glasses on. 2 out. And now Rodriguez. Say a lot of things about the fans in Boston. They are among the most engaged fans in all of baseball, and last night it was apparent that they had all done their homework, because they showed up at the park last night with wigs, with chants, with everything they could to get on Alex Rodriguez, who was on base 3 times.
With faces of a blonde-haired woman. And the whole thing, the way I saw it last night, was that the Fenway faithful, there was nothing mean-spirited about the way they kidded Rodriguez last night. Today, however, I felt that the boos were a little more acrimonious than they were last night. Greeted differently today.
Rodriguez took Schilling out of the park on April 20th, which was the first meeting between these two clubs. And that was the game in which the Red Sox were trailing, had a 5-run 8th inning, and won the game 7-6, beating Mariano Rivera in the process, the first game of a 3-game sweep. Strike 2. There are the numbers. April, 355 average, the 14 home runs, tying Pujols' mark set last year. And then in May, just 235, 11 RBIs, and a slugging percentage cut in half. Almost grazed Rodriguez. It's 2-2.
That's a rare slider that Schilling will throw to a right-handed batter, hoping the right-hander gives up on it. It was just too far inside.
Rodriguez trying to put New York out in front here in the first inning. A 1-out double by Jeter. He's there with 2 out. Stepped out, so now Schilling steps off. Gets the plan from Veritek. 2-2. Good start for Schilling. Gets around the double by Jeter by getting A-Rod on the splitter and the strikeout.
Saturday Baseball. Here in Fox, Julian Tavares talking to you guys. Here at the starting lineup, Julio Lugo playing shortstop, Dustin Pedroia playing second baseman, David Ortiz, DH, Manny Ramirez, left fielder, Kelvin Yucker playing first, Mike Lowe playing third base, Jason Beretta, the captain, doing the catching, Willie Mopena playing right field, Coco Cripps playing center field, Kurt Schilling doing the pitching.
Thank you, Julie. Julian Tavares, and the lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Here is Mike Mussina, who's coming off a good start on Sunday, albeit in a team losing effort to the Angels. And he is working to Will Nieves, the catcher, instead of Jorge Posada. You saw the numbers, not good, but Mussina hoping to build on what he did his last time out when he was up 2-1 when he came out in the 7th inning after 95 pitches, only to see Scott Proctor in the bullpen implode and the Angels complete a sweep. But an ERA over 5.5, he deals, and the count's 0-2.
The one thing that you want to keep an eye on is that miles per hour with Mike Mussina. The Yankees are understandably alarmed that Mussina has not gotten above 84, 85 miles an hour. Now, you can get by with that if you move the ball very effectively, but the slower you throw, the finer you have to be.
Lugo into center field for Melky Cabrera. More on Mike Mussina, the pitcher profile, brought to you by DLP. HDTP, it's amazing. It's the mirrors.
A lot of people think that if you're not throwing hard, then you can't be as aggressive. When you're not throwing hard, you have to be more aggressive, and that's what Mussina was his last time out. That was on Monday when he pitched that game Joe referred to. And he must come inside more. That's what Ron Guidry was saying before the game, but still, Mike Mussina with 241 wins, a very heady, smart guy on the mound.
But Joe Torre made a decision for this game as the red-hot Dustin Pedroia stands in, and that is the pitching of Mussina is more important to him than the extra bat that the Yankees might get with Damon, because he's DHing Posada, he's catching Nieves, and the reason is they like what Nieves does with Messina. You mentioned the lack of velocity, or his velocity being down. Nieves is much better at giving a low target for Messina, so the tilt to his pitches is down, and he can get away with a little more. And as you watch Nieves behind the plate, he wants it down, down, down.
Down, 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 and he works corners a little better than Posada does with Mike Messina.
And the numbers, well, they're
out.
Yeah, they're enough for Joe Torre to make this decision when it's that drastic. A 9 ERA with Posada, and obviously you can't pin that all on Posada.
No.
Or can you pin the 2 wins and the 2.6 ERA on Nieves? But they're going to go with it for a while. 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. It's something that Messina, knowing the way he is not going to be public about having a preference. But with those, don't think he doesn't know those numbers, and don't think he doesn't know how effective he has been with Nieves behind the plate.
He knows numbers so well that he finished Stanford in 3 years as an economy major.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on.
Mike knows numbers.
How about this guy, Pedroia?
Unbelievable.
Last time we saw the Red Sox, Francona was scratching his head and wondering if this guy had enough with his bat to be an everyday big leaguer, and now he's got an 11-game hitting streak, and he's hit 486 during it.
Feisty, plucky, and has fought himself out of that horrible slump he was in April, and batting over 430 in May and the first day of June.
Looked like Pedroia was thinking about diving that elbow down into that pitch. 2-2. Oh my goodness. The home plate umpire going to come out and warn Messina? You look at the difference in the numbers, and the home plate umpire walks out on a pitch that barely missed inside on a breaking ball,
Curveball,
and says something to Messina.
I can't believe that Phil Cuzzy is talking about pitching inside. I mean, that was a breaking ball. Here comes Joe Torre to talk about that very thing.
If you can't throw that pitch, you have no chance of winning a game. Do you?
You're right about Pedroia. Pedroia thought about leaving that left elbow in there, and there's no way. There's no way that he said anything.
I don't think there was a warning given, because he would have signaled it to the press box and he would have gone over to the Red Sox side. But it was odd to see the home plate umpire, Phil Cuzzy, walk out all the way to the mound and say something to Mike Messina.
You could clearly see it was the knuckle curveball that Mike threw at ball inside.
The 2-2. Hard hit, base hit, and a 12-game hitting streak for the rookie second baseman. He is on fire.
3 hits in last night's ball game, and the media guide lists Pedroia as 5'9". No way. About 5'7" and a half is my guess. Got everybody here at Fenway Park pulling for him now. Boy, you can bet on that.
And now Ortiz is digging his way in with his 9 home runs, his average of .324. And he has had his drought. No home runs, 60 at bats, his longest stretch without a long ball since coming to the Red Sox. Since he has come to the Red Sox, he has been the best run producer in baseball, period. Runner at first, 1 out. Ball 1.
Here's a guy that Mike Messina has had a ton of problems with. And the reason for that, he doesn't throw hard enough to get the ball inside to Ortiz, and that's where you have to pitch, David. In on the hands.
Here into the grip of Messina. Hard hit through the right side. Back-to-back hits. Pedroia will stop at second. And it's 2 on with 1 out. And there was at least half a chance that Pedroia was going to push it to third base.
With 1 out, you got to try. With 1 out, you got to know that the right fielder playing David Ortiz very deeply in Abreu. Now, Abreu throws well. He doesn't throw as well as he used to. But when you see him that deep, he's out near the track. He's got to go to his left. If you throw him out at third base, Pedroia tips his cap. But that's a base running mistake by not trying to go to third base.
Instead of first and third one out, it's first and second one out for Manny Ramirez.
Mike Messina familiar with this scene because it was Manny Ramirez who hit a 3-run home run in the first inning at Yankee Stadium the last time Messina faced the Red Sox.
Ramirez has been getting hot. 4 for 5 last night. And with a bag of seeds hanging out of his right pocket, he digs his way in. You just never know, do you?
No telling what else is in there either.
Seen him in left field with a water bottle hanging out of his pocket. Just don't know. 2 on, 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes. 2-0. Manny Ramirez with 29 RBIs in his last 24 games against Yankee pitching, and he's facing a hurler in Mike Messina, who among active pitchers has more wins against Boston than any other hurler, 19. He's pitched his entire career in the AL East. Baltimore and the Yankees. 2-0 pitch. Should be 2. Jeter gets a bad hop, juggles it, and still turns it. The inning is over. A terrible hop, and Jeter somehow corralled it and then made the easy throw. Into the second at Fenway. Yankees and Red Sox, no score. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by DLP. HD TV powered by DLP. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. By Abadart. And by Taco Bell, where a little flavor goes a long way. Think outside the bun. Second inning, no score. Jorge Posada first up for the Yankees, the #1 hitter in the league with an average of .358. In his walk year, a free agent to be, and the Yankees are going to have to gather up as much money as they can find and make sure that this guy doesn't walk away.
In his walk year, he's done anything but walk. He has been hammering balls.
1 ball, no strikes. And a big shift, an unusual shift on the infield. And Posada hits right into it. Pedroia out in shallow right, throws him out.
Joe, to my knowledge, the Boston Red Sox are the only team that shifts like this with Posada. You see it with David Ortiz, but not a lot of guys will shift that much. The outfield playing Posada straight away because he has good power into the gaps. Had a double to drive in 3 runs to left center as a left-handed batter last night. That is unusual, though.
Here's a guy who has been hot of late. Got off to a terrible start. You heard Reggie Jackson, who gave us our starting lineups, talk about what he did last year. Hit .342. Right now, as he stands in, .269 with 3 homers, 25 RBIs. Last night went deep off the knuckleballer. Hard hit, the left side lower. 2 out. And the batter will be Melky Cabrera. The Yankees come in 23-29. They have lost 6 of 10 against the Red Sox this year. At 1.8 under 500 during the week. That was the worst they have been under Joe Torre. And on Wednesday they were 14.5 back. Now they're 12.5 out. But I think more importantly, Tim, people say, well, the Yankees dead. By no stretch are the Yankees dead. It may be at this point, the way you look at the AL East, unrealistic with the way the Red Sox are playing and with the way that they have floundered around. But right now, the Yankees are only 5 games out on the loss side behind Detroit in the wild card race. And I think it could be the American League East compared to the American League Central that wins them the wild card spot.
A lot of Yankee fans continue to point back to 1978. when the Yankees came from behind to eventually tie the Red Sox. The Bucky Dent game, of course, here that won it for the Yankees, the 3-run home run off Mike Torres. But keep in mind, back in 1978, there was no wild card. And that was a different type Yankee team also. That was a tough, closely knit, tough outfit that caught the Red Sox on the last day of the season. The Red Sox, in fact, had to win the last 6 games of the season to tie the Yankees that year.
A better comparison was made during the week by Joel Sherman of the New York Post, talking about 1995 under Buck Showalter with an identical record. After 52 games, as Cabrera takes a strike and the count is full. It was the you see the Mariners on there. They came back to beat the Angels, but it was the Yankees that year that won the wild card spot by outlasting the Angels in that race, and they had to close at like 23-7 to get it done. Cabrera hits it down the right field line into the corner. It might go. It is gone for a home run. Melky Cabrera, number 3 on the year, and the Yankees jump out in front here in Boston.
Curt Schilling has thrown 2 inside fastballs in this game. One to Derek Jeter off the monster in left center field for a double. And a fastball, that's a 4-seam fastball, inside to Melky Cabrera, and Cabrera keeps it just inside the foul pole. That's pesky pole in right field. Little body English, and the Yankees take the lead.
Now Mankiewicz, the former Red Sox, takes a strike on a fastball from Schilling. Schilling's reaction after giving it up. Ninth home run he's allowed this season. Mankiewicz out in front, hooks it foul 0-2. But a little more excited and demonstrative is Melky Cabrera, who is going to get a chance to play on just about an everyday basis now, as Damon will be predominantly the DH, and they'll let Cabrera, a much better outfielder at this point in his career compared to Damon, get a chance to patrol center. I don't know that I disagree with those who say that the Yankees may be better off with Giambi, this version of Giambi, on the disabled list. Not a healthy Giambi, but this version of Giambi on the DL.
Yeah, because this version of Jason Giambi, unless he hits a home run, you kind of forget it. Clogs up the bases with the bad heel. Good hitting by Mankiewicz, 3rd Yankee hit of the ballgame.
Giambi was coming off a month of May where he hit only 177. Got off to a good start in April, but he has a tear. The plantar fascia under his left foot. 75% tear. Wondering if he's finished for the rest of the season. May or may not be. Time will tell. And in the meantime, they'll go a different direction with Cabrera in center and Damon the DH. That's into right off the bat of Nieves. So home run by Melky Cabrera. That puts New York out in front on a Saturday afternoon at Fenway. Fox Saturday Baseball, sponsored by Budweiser. Reach for a Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. Welcome back to Fenway Park. 1-0 Yankees out in front, and a home run by Cabrera. And now Kevin Youkilis, who is rapidly becoming one of the most feared hitters in the American League, and he should be, with his 3rd best average of .353, and a guy, Tim, who is really easy to like from a distance because of the way he plays the game.
Perseverance and intelligence. Talk about a guy who persevered. He was sent down to Pawtucket, the AAA affiliate, 2 years ago, 4 times.
Ken Rosenthal, who is with us, did an interview with Youkilis, and we'll talk to Ken. We get a chance during this at bat. He's got a 23-game hitting streak, during which he's hitting .426 with 6 home runs. He may not be on the All-Star ballot, but he'll be an All-Star. We can't talk to Kenny. We're going to talk to Jeannie for game break. Go ahead, Jeannie.
Yes, ladies first. D-backs and the Mets have called it a day. Arizona's win streak is snapped today because Carlos Delgado launched his 5th home run in the past 7 games. But wait, Ruben Gauthier sends another one out to right center, and the Mets really open it up from there. 7-1 final.
So the Mets, with their 35th win of the year, started the day 3.5 up on Atlanta, and it will stay there as Atlanta has defeated the Cubs, and there were plenty of fireworks yesterday and today for the Cubs, who are just falling apart. With Lou Piniella going through a rough season, his first try as the Cub manager. Lowell takes a strike. It's 1-1.
And dejected today at Wrigley Field in the 8th inning for arguing a play at third base. Joe Torre of the Yankees ejected in the 5th inning by Jerry Crawford last night, as Joe mentioned earlier.
Outside 2-1. Meanwhile, yesterday, Carlos Zambrano and Michael Barrett, his catcher, got into a fight in the dugout in Plainview. And went back to the clubhouse, got in another fight, and the report was that Barrett had to go to the hospital, get stitches in his lip, and had black eyes. 2-1 pitch. 3-1 now on Lowell.
That's why on my tombstone is going to be this inscription: pitchers did this.
Not broadcast partners?
No. Pitchers did this.
Gibson's fault. The tear in the ground. It's Carlton's fault. 3-1 to Lowell. Out in front of it, full count. Well, we are 2 little peas in a pod up here in the booth, but always happy to have Ken Rosenthal with us down on the field. And Kenny, this may be a little after the fact, but while Lowell waits for a 3-2 pitch, after he does something here, I want to talk to you about Youkilis, who is without a doubt a throwback type player. Grounded out to start the inning. And now a 3-2 to Lowell. Is Lowell a one-out walk. This guy's fun to talk to, isn't he, Ken?
He sure is, Joe, and he's the kind of guy that just wants to get a hit every time he's up there. He grew up in Cincinnati watching Pete Rose, and his theory is, why not get a hit every time? Pete Rose basically did. Basically, he wants 2 hits a game, and Eric Hinsky, his teammate, jokes with him and says, after he gets 2, well, you've got your quota. But at that point, Youkilis is the type that thinks, well, maybe 4 for 4, maybe 5 for 5.
On top of that, he was the guy that was flipped last night by Proctor. And I know you have further word on a possible suspension and the Red Sox reaction to what you learned about what the league will do with Proctor.
Right, Joe. Proctor is not going to be suspended, not even going to be fined, and the Red Sox were highly upset when they heard this news today. Their thinking was that if Youkilis had succeeded in charging the mound, then both he and Proctor would have been suspended. As it turns out, they restrained Youkilis, everything calmed down, and no one gets suspended.
That being said, the idea that you can read intent, and sure, maybe Proctor's trying to drive Youkilis off the plate. I find it hard to make the next leap, which everybody seems to in a tense series like this, especially if you're watching it from the Red Sox perspective, that he's trying to hit Youkilis in the head. Because if his control was that good last Sunday, relieving Messina, he wouldn't have given up a double and 3 walks and given up a game against the Angels. So they're not always going where they're supposed to. Another double play ball. This time 4-6-3. The inning comes to a close. 2 innings, 2 double plays turned by the Yanks after 2. 1-0 on a home run by Melky Cabrera. Back after this from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox.
Don't miss the 2007 Major League Baseball first-year player draft. The draft begins Thursday, June 7th at 2 Eastern. Bobby Abreu is first up for the Yankees. Bobby lined out to left his first time. Then Jeter and Matsui. The sun pops out on a hazy day in Boston. Yankees up 1-0 and a home run by Cabrera. That's in for a strike. Curt Schilling does not have anything but kind words to use about his new pitching coach, John Farrell. As Abreu gets a base hit, he's 1 for 2. And it's the work that he has done with John Farrell, who ended his career by throwing a split-fingered fastball that has helped Schilling rediscover that pitch and evolve into a guy who really has relied less on his changeup and was good enough to strike out 10 Cleveland Indians hitters this past week.
Yeah, I ran into John in the dugout, and he was talking about the tilt on Schilling's splitter. Instead of dropping the hand down and pushing the ball, he's tried to encourage Schilling to stay on top of the pitch, which is not unusual, because if you're this way, you're going to push the ball and it's going to flatten out. However, if you're this way and you throw it, that's when you get the toppling effect and the ball going down, and that's what John Farrell has been preaching to Curt Schilling this year.
Farrell and Francona, who were teammates on an Indians team back in 1988. Francona hit .311. Then the next year was in the minor leagues in the Cardinal system playing at Louisville, and Farrell was eventually going to take over as the director of player development for the Cleveland Indians. Here he is as the pitching coach. A high hop for Lugo. Pedroia in the middle. Nicely done. 6-4-3. 2 out.
Second basemen have many ways to protect themselves. Often they'll use the base. Watch how Pedroia steps on second base with his left foot, backs off, uses the bag. Very nicely done. The reason that a lot of second basemen don't do that is they can't get as much on the throw. But this is really nicely turned on his back foot, strong throw to double Jeter. Very nice.
So Pedroia is doing it all right now for the Red Sox. Certainly not a routine double play ball with the speed of Jeter going down the line, and now Matsui. Matsui first came to the Yankees. The Red Sox couldn't get him out. He had .345, 48 RBIs in his first 58 against their rival, the Red Sox. Last 28 games, however, he's hit only .178 against Boston, with just 7 RBIs in those 28 games, and he's in the hole here 0-2. Rodriguez on deck. That's foul and will get out of play. Splitter grip, and it moves away from the hitter Matsui outside for ball 1.
Yeah, and that's not good. Whenever a splitter moves either left or right, that's not good. When it goes down, however, that's good. Watch how this ball does a dog leg right. Well, not quite a dog leg right, but you get the idea. That one was a good splitter because it went down, and Farrell keeping tabs on Curt Schilling. This is a good one right here.
Counts 2-2. Matsui 5 home runs. Average of .281. Not the splitter this time. The fastball gets him over the outside corner. Inning over. Second strikeout for Schilling. The Red Sox will have Pena, Crisp, and Lugo coming up down by 1. First up, Willie Mo Pena for the Red Sox. Coco Crisp and then Julio Lugo. 1-0 Yankees. Messina has walked 1, allowed 2 hits, but had 2 double plays turned behind him. Strike 1. Just who will be appearing at the 2007 All-Star Game? It could be you. Log on to Chevy.com/All-Stars. for your chance at the ultimate all-star experience from Chevy and American Revolution. The 0-1 pitch to Pena. Fooled on the delivery by Messina. 0-2. The All-Star Game will be July 10th in high definition right here on Fox from San Francisco. That'd be the prettiest setting from any ballpark in the country.
Well, I'll say.
The worse your seat, the better your view. And that is clubbed in left center field. High off the monster, and Pena starts the third with a double. An 0-2 pitch, and Willie Moe let it go.
Yeah, you know, when people talk about control for a pitcher, control is not only throwing strikes, but it's throwing balls to entice a hitter when you want to. Well, that ball, too good a pitch on an 0-2 count. And I mean, you talk about the wall saving a home run. This ball is clubbed by Pena.
He can hit him as far as anybody in the league.
That's right. Oh.
Any part of the park. And he's the tying run at second with nobody out, and Coco Crisp is at the plate. Yankee infield in on the corners. And Crisp does bunt. Messina, one out. Sacrifice 1-3, and over to third is Pena for Julio Lugo. There was a time where Terry Francona, no matter the situation, didn't want to drop down a bunt, didn't want to give up and out. He does with Crisp, and even though Julio Lugo is struggling, hitting .224 and not getting a lot of hits of late, he was number 2 on this team in RBIs in the month of May with 21, out of predominantly the leadoff spot. See if the Red Sox can turn some small ball into the tying run. Strike one.
Ground balls to third and first, they'll come home. Ground ball to the middle infielders, either Jeter or Cano. Obviously, it'll be a cheap run for the Red Sox.
Although with the ring that double had to it in the left center field by Pena, there's not going to be much cheap. No. This is the only park that would hold that thing in play because of the height of the Green Monster, 37 feet high.
Green Monster has yet another dent in that wall,
or a hole. 0-2 is the count on Lugo. Messina has not struck anybody out today. And that's to Jeter, and that makes it 1-1. A double, a bunt, and a ground out. Not typical Red Sox baseball, but they will take the run and the tie.
Willie Moe Pena scoring easily. High chopper to Jeter, and Derek's only play is to first base. And that is an atypical run by the Red Sox, certainly in recent years, but this year, again, that's what good starting pitching can do. It can bind you into a way to play the game better.
The first time up, Dustin Pedroia got a breaking ball that was just inside. It looked to us like Pedroia almost stuck the left elbow down into the pitch. Looked to Messina the same way, and that is what the home plate umpire, Phil Cuzzi, went out to talk to him about, saying, I'm not warning you. I know you didn't throw at him, but in case you were worried about me thinking that Pedroia was going to get first base if he stuck his elbow down into the pitch, that wasn't going to happen. And with the meeting that we had at home plate prior to the game, the 5-hit batsman last night, Joe Torre got the explanation after Messina did. Cuzzi trying to take charge of the situation early. 1-1 pitch is low, 2-1. Pedroia's average of .328. Now has a 12-game hitting streak alive with his single back in the first. 2-1. Well, he has taken a hack, and that's foul left side. Playable for Rodriguez. Were they yelling, hey? Or mine? 1-1 after 3. Kurt Schilling back to work, and Alex Rodriguez takes the ball inside. Rodriguez struck out on a splitter his first time up. He has had An interesting week, to say the least, with the stuff that's gone on away from the field. It was reported by the New York Post, and then the controversy up in Toronto with him yelling whatever it was, whether it was hey or yay or mine, and Howie Clark not catching a pop-up on the left side. Everybody has weighed in, from players in the 70s, the 60s, current day players, players involved in the game, little leaguers, you name it. They've all had an opinion on whether it was bad baseball, Bush League, or whatever. But Joe Torre came out yesterday and said that he probably shouldn't have done it. Which was interesting, that after the fact, Joe Torre went back and I'm sure was pressed to give an answer, and that was his answer. However, that in turn, as Rodriguez grounds to the hole at short, Lugo makes the play. That line and the conversation that Joe Torre had with the media, Anthony McCarron wrote an article in the New York Daily News. Joe Torre had no issue with the article that Anthony wrote, but the headline in the Daily News, which Joe was made aware of today by his wife Allie, calling from New York, the headline read, "Joe to Alex, shut up." And Joe Torre was stunned.
Which were not his words at all, and he held a press conference before the game and expressed his displeasure with the Daily News and their inaccuracy as to what he said.
Again, in this case, and you see it from time to time, a particular writer will say, look, I write the story, I don't write the headline. And Torre had no issue with McCarron's piece, but with the headline writer, and saying that it made it seem as if there was some controversy or there was some exchange between the two, and that's just not the case. And so Joe Torre wanted to make sure that the media was aware of it. And at the beginning of his press conference, which, by the way, is a spectacle in and of itself, with the amount of writers he's surrounded by day after day, win, lose, or draw in the dugout, he went on for 5 minutes about accuracy in reporting or headline writing, and that it was an unfair representation of what took place between the two. 3-1 from Schilling as that one rolls into home plate in Posada. Ken Rosenthal has made his living asking managers questions and turning his pieces of journalism over to headline writers and seeing what the surprise is on the other end. Ken, what are your feelings on that?
It does happen, Joe, and it's a bad mistake when it does happen. I think Joe Torre, in this case, has a very good point. He could not have spoken more gently yesterday about what A-Rod did. He said it was probably inappropriate, and the way he handled it was very graceful. But the way it came out in the Daily News with that headline was not graceful at all.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Posada. With 1 out, Posada rips one through the shift and into right, a 1-out single. A-Rod has been a lightning rod since coming to the New York Yankees, one thing after another. You go back to July in 2004, Arroyo, and then the fight with Jason Varitek, knocking the ball out of the glove of Bronson Arroyo in the ALCS. 10 days ago or so, putting a forearm up into Dustin Pedroia, trying to break up a double play, and then on Wednesday, yelling something on his way to third base right there. Howie Clark not making the play on a pop-up. And that's a short list that goes along with the price tag of $25 million, the ability to play this game. Here's a little ground ball to the right side. Pedroia, Lugo, safe. 2 out.
Cano was jammed on the play, not really a double play ball. And he does beat the throw at first base. Seems like Alex Rodriguez, his time with the Yankees, a lot of people forget that he almost signed with the Boston Red Sox at a cut in pay. for Manny Ramirez, who was scheduled to go down to Texas. And the Players Union stepped in. The cut and pay could not be allowed, and the deal was nullified, only for A-Rod to find himself with the Yankees 3 months later.
But it seems to reach a new level about every 2 weeks with Rodriguez, and it does. The spotlight and attention that he draws now away from the park as much as at the stadium. 2-0 is the count. And if he were a guy that were to read all the articles, I mean, it's been unbelievable with how many people have weighed in to whether they think that play in Toronto on the pop-up with him yelling something on his way to third base was a Bush League play.
There have been a few other people that have weighed in on the other end of it also.
And that, talking about what's gone on away from the stadium,
right,
has taken athletes and their spotlight and the attention that they garner into an entirely different direction, to where Lindsay Lohan rules almost apply, and anybody with a cell phone camera can become an instant journalist.
Yeah. Waiting for the opportunity.
1 on, 2 out. Cabrera rips one through the right side. He's already homered. He's 2 for 2. On base 4 times last night. That one trickles away, but Cano will stay at second. And it's 2 on with 2 out. And Ken Rosenthal, you know, one thing that really makes it interesting is a lot of those who are reporting for the New York Post in this case are either news writers or gossip writers, and therefore they're not beat writers, so they're insulated from having faced these guys. And now with all the attention that there has been with A-Rod and the pictures now and everything else that's come out beginning with the Post, now it's taken this entire relationship with, potentially, I think, with players and the news media in an entirely different direction.
I do think that's possible, Joe, and athletes in this country traditionally have not been given the paparazzi treatment, but this story could signal a change. There's no question about it. Superstars like A-Rod, they earn just as much money as major entertainers, and I think what we're going to see now is that athletes are going to need to be more discreet. As you mentioned, anyone out there with a cell phone that has a camera or a digital camera can click these pictures of these guys and put them on the internet, and their world changes quickly.
Those two know about that world all too well, whether it's Ben Affleck or his wife Jennifer Garner. And I wouldn't say that those two hide when they come to Fenway Park. They're rather easy to spot. Affleck, who grew up in Boston and has been a lifelong Red Sox fan. Right down front. That's on the outside corner. 2-1 on Mankiewicz. Meanwhile, it's a 1-1 game. The camera guy right behind him. I don't know if that lens is big enough.
Talk about a close-up.
Meanwhile, Mankiewicz is swarmed by gnats, and he has to get out of the batter's box. He has a chance to put the Yankees back on top in a 1-1 game, 4th inning. Why not? If I was a gnat, that is a helmet that I would hang around. Look at that thing. Pine tar, junk, spit, bubble gum.
Yeah, that would attract gnats.
The 2-1. 2-2. Kind of waiting around for the unexpected to happen, and so far has been a rather tame 3+ innings. But there's a long way to go. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes in a 1-1 game. Mankiewicz trying to dump it into left center. Chris. Yankees have stranded 4. Big Poppy is coming up. The DH for the Red Sox. Bottom of the 4th inning. Tied at 1. David Ortiz takes one that skips in, and we're underway in the bottom of the 4th. Rain is falling here at Fenway. steady shower, although skies don't appear too ominous overhead, but some head for cover. As Ortiz leads it off, Ramirez will follow, then Youkilis against Messina. Drops in for strike one. Ortiz, a base hit his first time. 61 at bats without a home run. Burger King hot zone. He likes it up and over the heart of the plate, and anything chest or belt high, he hammers.
Now, I've got to disagree with our pals from Burger King. He is a lethal low ball hitter. Up and out over the plate. That hot zone should be down. Pardon me. Should be right in here or right in here, not up and out over the plate.
It's kind of hot all over there.
Well, his long ball and his average ball is down. So we got to check that out.
You just see if they make it your way next time you show up. 3 balls and a strike on Ortiz, leading off in the 4th, and a leadoff walk. Terry Francona was willing to do an interview, and here's what he said about his pitcher Schilling and the way he's working so far.
Well, I think he's pitching well. Again, it's one of the better lineups in the league. I thought he got the ball into Cabrera, but he got his hands in enough to keep it fair. Didn't want to hook, but again, you have to pitch to get through this lineup. He's doing a good job.
And meanwhile, Tim just made a point, as you guys got the double from Pena, the bunt and the RBI ground out. Your good starting pitching allows you to do things that maybe a couple of years ago you wouldn't have even entertained, but you scratched that tying run across. Has your philosophy changed a little bit?
I don't know if it's a philosophy changing, but I think it's adapting to the people you have. And again, the way your staff is pitching and the people you have on the field. I mean, we have some guys that can run a little bit better than we have in the past.
I think your big DH is mocking you behind you right now.
I'll knock him on his ass.
Bye, Terry.
I mean that nicely.
Yeah, I know. Be careful. That was during the break. Now Ortiz is at first. The rain picks up. And a 1-0 to Ramirez is hit in the gap in right center field. That ball is cut off by Cabrera. Ortiz will hold at third, and it's a double for Ramirez. Second and third, nobody out.
And because there are no outs, there's no way to try to score David Ortiz. A double easily. As Melky Cabrera tracking it down from his center field spot. He was playing Ramirez a bit to pull. Ball off his glove, but Ortiz not a fast runner, and this is an easy call to keep him at third base.
You wonder if we're going to continue playing here. It is absolutely pouring right now. Although the skies, as we mentioned, off beyond the wall and left are brighter than behind us to the right, and Jerry Crawford, the crew chief, is going to call the grounds crew onto the field. It's second and third, nobody out, and the red-hot Youkilis coming up. And hopefully, the way the skies look at the moment, this is going to be a short delay. But it's raining pretty hard right now, and Jerry Crawford, for the moment, is going to call the grounds crew to put the tarp on the field.
And by the time they get the tarp on, it may have quit raining. But, of course, that's one of the risks the umpires take.
The umpires are staying out on the field. And we'll see if they're going to call the teams back out here shortly.
It doesn't smell like a long rain delay.
It just doesn't have that feel. And I know we're going to go to another game right now. But Joe Torre now is going to get the word from Jerry Crawford. And now, as they've just about got the tarp completely unrolled, it's barely sprinkling.
Yeah.
This hasn't exactly been a fun series for Jerry Crawford either. Last night, having to run Joe Torre in an argument on a call at third base. Yankees feeling Abreu was safe. Replay showing he was safe on a steal of third, and then Joe Torre came out to argue, came back again, and let's put it this way. Without that heavy shower, we'd be playing right now. How long will this delay be? We don't know. But right now, here's Kenny Albert and Joe Girardi with more action.
We welcome those of you who have just joined us who have been watching the Yankees and the Red Sox, who are in a rain delay in the 4th inning at Fenway. Kenny Albert, Joe Girardi from Minute Maid Park in Houston. We're at the St. Louis. A look at Fenway Park in Boston. The Yankees and Red Sox tied at 1. Bottom of the 4th inning. We are told the rain is slowing down, so they may take the tarp off shortly. But we welcome you back to Houston, where the Cardinals hold a 3-2 lead over the Astros. Bottom of the 5th.
Is being removed after a brief delay. Everybody has won. We're tied up at Fenway, and as mentioned, baseball in your very near future.
All right, G, I know our viewers.
Well, if you were with us when Jerry Crawford had the grounds crew pull the tarp on the field, you saw the heaviest rain as they completed putting the tarp on the field. The sun was out, and it hasn't really rained since. Evidently, another cell was headed this way. It is not overhead now, and with the rain stopping, back to action we go. About a 27-minute rain delay, and we look back at the game summaries. We're in the 4th inning. Early, Pedroia looked like he was going to try and lean into a pitch, and Phil Cuzzi went out to tell Messina he was aware of that and not to worry about it. Melky Cabrera hit a solo shot in the top of the 2nd down the right field line. Made it 1-0 in the 3rd inning. The Red Sox tied it after a ringing double by Pena. A bunt he scored on the ground out by Lugo. And then with the rain coming down, it was a double into right center field, hit by Manny Ramirez to bring up 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Euclid coming up, and the tarp coming onto the field, and that's where we are right now. 28-minute delay, and we're back to work. Euclid will be the hitter, 0 for 1. First time up, grounded out to 3rd. As his outstanding first 2 months carried into June last night when he extended his hitting streak.
Yankees with their infield back. First baseman Doug Minkiewicz, the only infielder in. So a ground ball to 3 of the 4 infielders. And the Red Sox will take the first lead of the afternoon.
Nobody out in the inning. 2nd and 3rd. Euclid takes high for Mike Messina. Messina, the 38-year-old right-hander, has to sit for 28 minutes. Now back and facing the hottest hitter in the Red Sox lineup with a 23-game hitting streak on the line. A walk, a double, a 1-1 game here in the 4th. On deck is Lowell. There's Mike, who was hit on the left hand last night by Chin-Ming Wong. Left the game in the 5th inning, but he's back in the lineup today. Right now it's Euclid up on the count, 2-0. Corner, 2-1. You can just see how confident a hitter Kevin Euclid is just by the way he stands up there.
Just by the way he takes a pitch. You take like you hit.
Messina does not have a strikeout today. Would love one here. Euclid, when he's waiting for the pitch, looks like he's going to launch himself into whatever comes his way.
We talked in our scouting report a little while back about how Mike Messina must come inside. He did with the fastball to Euclid. Kevin looking away. Now expect Messina to go right back out there.
Richard Messina shaking off Wilmy Avis. Two pitch is in the dirt, full count. Ortiz, the lead man at third. It's going to be a ground ball for an RBI. It has to be well placed by Youkilis. Youkilis hops out again.
Well, Nieves, the catcher for the Yankees, giving location and pitches, and Messina's already gotten it.
That's low, and it loads him up. One of the most patient hitters in the game, Youkilis, takes a walk. Third walk by Messina, and Lowell, who walked his first time, is the man on the spot. Bases loaded, nobody out. Mike had hit in 22 consecutive games here at Fenway Park until last night, 0 for 1. And he had to leave after being hit by a pitch. So that streak was snapped. Strike one. We have seen Messina over the years, and it seems like it takes everything he has got on a pitch from the stretch to get it to the plate with something on it. Down and away, a ball and a strike. Former Yankee farmhand Mike Lowell made his name with the Marlins. He's had a good run with the Red Sox, and he's a free agent to be. On the count, 2-1. Hard hit, base hit. Everybody moves up one spot, and the Red Sox lead it 2-1 here in the fourth inning. Ortiz, who led off the inning with a walk, comes around to score on the hit by Lowell. RBI number 42 for Mike Lowell.
A fastball. It appeared that, or it could have been a slider, backed up on the inside part. Mike Lowell, a very, very good inside hitter. Some guys like it down, some guys like it up. Well, Mike Lowell likes it inside, and he plays a run for the Red Sox to give them their first lead of the afternoon.
Here's Veritek. Strike one. While Messina pitches right now for the Yankees, there's a story that's making its way around the press box for the Yankees, and that is with regard to Roger Clemens and his scheduled start on Monday. Word is, reported by the New York Times, he has been scratched from that start at the White Sox. That misses, a ball and a strike. There is soreness in his right groin that he evidently suffered in the 6 shutout innings he pitched for Scranton his last time out last Monday, his 6 shutout innings. He was scheduled for a Monday start at the White Sox. Word is he may miss a couple of weeks in Kei Igawa. He's trying to revamp his mechanics. Will come up and start for the Yankees at Chicago. Cano will tag, throw to first for the out, double play.
Good play by Lowell. The right play. And a better play by Cano to get rid of the ball. Watch Lowell ran into Cano, perfectly legal, knocks him off his feet, and somehow Cano going down throws a one-hopper to Minkevich, and they still complete the double play. Lowell knocks him off his feet, perfectly legal, the right play to make in that situation. And Cano makes a terrific play going down and still throwing to first base to get Veritek.
And yet part of our package that we showed on the chippiness, so to speak, on the part of Alex Rodriguez, and what the Red Sox complained about the last time these two teams met, was Rodriguez coming up with a forearm into Dustin Pedroia to try and make it more difficult for Pedroia to throw to first on a double play ball. Rodriguez doing it to try and help the Yankees avoid a twin killing. And here Lowell lowering his shoulder into the chest of Cano, putting him on his back. And Cano, as you say, doing a fantastic job of somehow bouncing it to Minkevich, who made a good play for the double play. It's a 3-1 game. Runner at third, 2 out, as Veritek hits into the 4-3 double play. It's 0-2.
The key difference in the two plays with Rodriguez is Rodriguez went into Pedroia after Pedroia had gotten rid of the ball. Lowell went into Cano trying to prevent Cano from getting rid of the ball. The big difference in distinguishing the play that Rodriguez had in controversial measures 10 days ago and the play that Mike Lowell did. That was just perfectly legitimate.
Strike 3 called over the outside corner. Pena is gone, and after loading the bases with nobody out, the Red Sox get 2, lead 3-1 as we go to the 5th at Fenway. Kurt Schilling will have extra time to get loose, and it looks like he needs the extra time as he's trying to shake off that 28-minute rain delay. And a look at the AutoZone strike zone. Mike Mussina has thrown 59 total pitches, Schilling 57. A half inning less work. And you look at the first pitch strikes for each right-hander. 40-year-old Schilling, 38-year-old Mussina. Meanwhile, we were talking about that play that Lowell made, and I referenced the play back at Yankee Stadium that Rodriguez coming up into Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia and the Red Sox did not like, trying to help bust up the double play. And then today, Lowell lowering his shoulder and dumping Robinson Cano on his back, and somehow Cano getting it to first for the double play. I think the reason why I bring it up, first of all, I think you can make the case that that's all within one act with Rodriguez at second base with Pedroia. It doesn't really matter. The point and the reason why I bring it up is, had Rodriguez just done that and put somebody on their back while he runs the bases, this place would have come down.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's a valid point. It depends on what cloth you're wearing. Are you wearing Red Sox cloth or Yankee cloth as to how you determine how ethical some plays are.
And what could be lost in that last half inning is the job that Mussina did. Bases loaded, nobody out, gives up only the 2 runs. Helped out by Cano, gets the big double play ball off the bat of Veritek, strikes out Pena, his first strikeout, and what could have been a big inning for the Red Sox turns into 2 runs and a 3-1 lead. Now the 5th inning, and the number 9 hitter Will Nieves first up. Avi Abreu will follow, and then Derek Jeter. Ball 1 from Schilling. So now we'll see how Schilling responds to the delay of more than a half hour since he's last been out there. An easy comebacker to Schilling. A good slate of games next Saturday on Fox. now would be in charge and in front in the wild card race. As we mentioned earlier, they'll have a lot of competition within their own division and from a team like the Yankees, who are at the start of the day 6 out overall, 5 back in the loss column behind the Tigers in the wild card chase. Also the A's and Giants, or the Astros and White Sox. Coverage begins with a pregame show at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, right here on Fox. Abreu is 1 for 2. And the count evens at 1-1. Abreu lined out to left and singled in the third. Jeter next. We will talk to Joe Torre during the break. Abreu is second hit. We will talk to Ken Rosenthal now about Clemens, and in case you're just joining us or tuning in, the word is, it's bouncing around the press box, that Roger Clemens has informed the Yankees, which is an interesting way to put it, that he has fatigue in his right groin, that he has that and can't shake it after that last start for AAA Scranton. The Yankees knew the risks with signing a 44-year-old, about to be 45-year-old Roger Clemens, hastening his return back to big league pitching condition. He has a history with groin injuries, and it has cropped up on him again, and the word, according to the New York Times, is that he'll miss up to 2 weeks. That's the third. Lowell, Pedroia. We'll talk to Kenny next inning, bottom of the 5th inning. Good return back to work for Schilling. 3-1 Red Sox on top.
Instead of wondering where your arm is and where your back leg is, and that's what he's dealing with now.
All right, Joe. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Chevy and American Revolution. You tuned into the last few seconds of our chat with Joe Torre, and we will play you the entire conversation. Obviously, big news as we play here in the 5th inning at Fenway Park. The word is now out. The Yankees have disclosed that Roger Clemens will not make the start on Monday at the White Sox. And Tim, it has been an unbelievable year with the injuries that this Yankee team has had to endure, and now a guy who hasn't even pitched for him yet is hurt before he even puts the uniform on.
Yeah, starting the season with 4 of their 5 starters either on the DL or about to go on the DL. Mike Tessina, one of them. And now the problems with Roger Clemens, and that's by no means to imply that it's only been injuries that have led to the demise so far of the Yankees this year. I mean, they've been terrible in a lot of areas, and offense is one of them.
Yeah, May was not a good month swinging the bats for a high-priced and powered team. Coco Crisp flies to center, and here's our chat with Joe Torre during the break, which ran a little bit over, and we talked about Messina first, limiting the damage in the bottom of the 4th.
You know, he's a pro, Joe. I mean, you see pitch very tough to Youkilis and just, you know, grind it away. And then coming away with 2 runs, not too bad. You know, we still have a little work to do.
I know you've never been through a year like this with everything that's gone on in and around the team, but now the word is that Roger Clemens has fatigue in his right groin, will not make the start on Monday, and according to him, might miss a couple of weeks.
Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see. Roger has kept us informed. He wasn't sure, you know, yesterday, you know, that it was going to keep him from starting, and then today we got the news that, you know, he's going to need some extra time. So, you know, we'll be... we'll find a starter for Monday, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, so I know that Brian Cashman is looking, and I guess at least the report named Kei Igawa as a guy coming up. Is he a possibility?
He's definitely a possibility. You know, he may be not quite where we want him to be yet, but, you know, in search of a starter as opposed to bringing somebody back on short rest is probably the way we'd like to go.
We've only got about 10 seconds. His mechanics, are they better?
Yeah, they are better, but, you know, any connection with baseball understands that when you're out on the mound, you got to be concentrating to get the hitter out instead of wondering where your arm is and where your back leg is, and that's what he's dealing with now.
That was our chat with Joe Torre, and that is the case with Kei Igawa. $40+ million investment the Yankees have made in him, and after being ineffective and wild and not being very good, they sent him back down to the minor leagues to revamp his delivery and his mechanics, which is a tall order within a season, and now he's going to get the ball on Monday, it appears, At least it's a very good possibility on Monday, as we just heard from Joe Torre, as the count's full now on Lugo.
The majority owner of the Boston Red Sox, John Henry, made his money in the futures market. Well, the majority owner of the New York Yankees invested in the futures market with Roger Clemens this year. So far, the returns are not good with Clemens being injured.
It's off the end of the bat. There's John Henry, owner of these Boston Red Sox, and it's been a great ride for Henry and his manager Terry Francona, and Larry Lucchino, and Theo Epstein, and everyone else involved. There's
Tom Werner.
There's Daisuke Matsuzaka and Hideki Okajima, who's been a great import. The lefty in their bullpen as Pedroia stands in. 1 on, 1 out.
A lot of people in and around the Boston Red Sox have a tendency to think that it's always been like this. Fans grabbing tickets, they are precious items in this city. It is the thing to do to come to Fenway, but it was not always like this. Prior to the 1967 season, the impossible dream, Carl Yastrzemski, Jim Lonborg, Yastrzemski winning the Triple Crown, Lonborg the Cy Young Award, facing the Cardinals in the World Series that year. That revived baseball in Boston, and since then, this has been one terrific franchise.
They honored that team last night. 40 years later, 1 on, 1 out. Lugo at first. He's done a good job stealing bases. Pedroia, I think, was looking for Lugo to take off. He took a strike right down the middle. 16 for 16 in stolen bases is Julio Lugo.
That's an interesting point, and accurate too, I think, Joe. It's particularly difficult when you're a right-handed batter and the runner is a good base runner at first base. And it fools you. A lot of times you think he's going, he's not. Find yourself behind in the count a lot.
Still not going, and a ball up and away, 1-1. The Red Sox lead by 2 here in the 5th. The Yankees will have Matsui, Rodriguez, and Posada to the plate in the 6th. Cena's allowed 3 runs on 6 hits. And now checks on Lugo. Matchup tomorrow night of Andy Pettitte and Josh Beckett. Will it be the rubber game of this series, or will the Yankees be going for the sweep? New York won last night 9-5.
He's got to be running here.
Stays put. Pedroia grounds foul outside third. Strike 2. And a good pickup.
Now, Julio Lugo, as we look at Andy Pettitte, Josh Beckett, starters tomorrow. Beckett 8-0. Andy Pettitte with a 2.51 earned run average. The Yankees have not been scoring for him. Pitched very well and much better than his record.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Pedroia gets out of there. Beckett is coming off another win. As you mentioned, his record undefeated, and coming off a win over Cleveland after coming back from the torn skin / blister eczema situation on his middle finger right hand. Unbelievable how hot Pedroia is, and it's 2 on, 1 out. 2 out of 3 today for Pedroia. He's up around 330 with his average.
A knuckle curve. Whenever Messina puts that index finger of his right hand up on the ball like that, he's trying to throw the curveball. He left it up, and Pedroia takes advantage of it. Sizzling Dustin Pedroia.
From the 9 spot to the number 2 spot in front of Ortiz, and he sets up David Ortiz with 2 on, 1 out here in the 5th. .72 pitches to this point for Messina. delay mixed in. Strike one. Start to stop, and a shot to first. The only play Yankevich has is to go to the bag. 2 out. Can't hit it any harder.
Okay, you have to know where the fielders are too. Dustin Pedroia went from first to second to the outside part of the bag. Yankevich was going to throw to second, but he saw Pedroia there instead of Jeter and realized he had to take the sure out. The little things that happen like that, you know, it may or may not have been a good base running play by Pedroia, you don't know. But the fact that he was on the outside part of the line blocked Yankevich from throwing it to Jeter, and an easy call right here to, or is it an easy call?
Well, that's, I was going to say, pick your poison. You want Ramirez, who has 5 hits in these 2 games. 4 last night, a double his last time up, or do you want Youkilis, who has an 0 for 1 day going today, but a 23-game hitting streak alive? Bases will be loaded with 2 out for Youkilis. And here's the guy that the Yankees are bringing to the plate, Kevin Youkilis. What has he done so far this season? Well, he's been fantastic swinging the bat. 23-game hitting streak, second longest to Ichiro, who has 25-game hitting streak going. 3rd best average in the American League. An inside the park home run this past week, and one of 4 regular first basemen in the big leagues without an error. Over at first, he got one last night at 3rd base after Lowell left. Came up as a 3rd baseman. Now the everyday first baseman for Terry Francona. Ball 1. Big chance for Boston to add to their 2-run 5th inning lead. Dangerous pitch on 2-0, and it's in for strike 1. Messina has not given up a grand slam since 1995. Kevin Youkilis has never hit one. Chris Britton just recalled getting loose. Center field, Cabrera on the track to end the inning. Messina bends, does not break. 6th inning at Fenway Park. Heart of the order coming up for the Yankees, down by 2. This will be a big inning for Curt Schilling. He has got the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. If anybody gets on the suddenly hot Robinson Cano with a 2-run 6th inning lead. There is action for the Red Sox in their pen. Matsui, base hit. Good start to the inning for New York. Just 2 will be appearing in the 2007 All-Star Game. It could be you. Log on to Chevy.com/All-Stars for your chance at the ultimate All-Star experience. From Chevy and American Revolution, July 10th in San Francisco. Great setting. Never been there. log on and try and get there because it doesn't get any prettier in that stadium. Sitting right there looking out into the bay is Javier Lopez, the left-hander, gets loose. Rodriguez up. Ball one. A-Rod is 0 for 2. Number 1 in the AL with his 19 home runs. He is tied with Prince Fielder of the Milwaukee Brewers of the National League. If you haven't paid attention to the National League home run race, it's Prince Fielder who's been on a tear with 19 for the first place Milwaukee Brewers. Strike one. Burger King hot zone for Alex Rodriguez. What do you think?
Not a hitter alive if can't hit that pitch down and in. Do I get it my way this time?
You get it, yes. Thanks for playing along. 600 on a ball down and in. Flame broiling hot. One on, nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside from Schilling, ball 2.
Schilling striking out Rodriguez on a splitter in the first inning, and he got him on a slider in the third.
Sweat-soaked hat for Schilling on a muggy day here in Boston, behind on the count to Rodriguez. This is the 3rd start for Schilling against the Yankees. Not good on the 20th of April. 7 innings, 5 runs, 8 hits. A-Rod went deep. Lost May 23rd at the Yankees. 6 innings, 5 runs, 12 hits. 2-2.
Well, that's a mistake right there. You can see Veritek setting up outside. The pitch stayed up and in, up and really over the plate. Schilling got away with it. I think Veritek ought to go out there now. There's too much doubt in the pitch selection. Schilling stepped off a couple of times. Go out there, you make sure of what you want to do. Looks like a splitter.
It misses down and in. Veritek called for a couple of sliders. Schilling didn't want them.
Right.
And fastball, he said no, went to the splitter, missed, and the count's full.
He wants to throw another splitter here. A lot of times if you shake that many times, the pitch that you shake for is not as effective. Shakes off inside, yes, he wants a splitter.
And a walk to put 2 on with nobody out. So now Posada's coming up. The left-hander Lopez is about ready in the bullpen, and we'll see if Francona wants Schilling against Posada or Lopez against Posada.
Posada, better hitter this year as a right-handed batter. I would imagine that's why Terry's staying in the dugout right now. But I think regardless of what happens to Posada, Lopez is going to be in the game to pitch to Cano.
That was the first walk by Schilling. He just handed Rodriguez, who did a good job of laying off 2 splitters. And now ball 1 inside to Posada, who's 1 for 2. Two on, nobody out. High and tight again. 2-0. Joel Pinheiro takes his spot in the bullpen next to Lopez. Curt Schilling with a count 2-0. Good pitch on the outside corner, 2-1. Pitch again, 2-2.
That was a split right there to Posada in a fastball situation. Watch Posada right there pulling off that pitch.
Down and driven into right. Back at the wall. The pitch was down. Posada went to get it, and he has given New York the lead here in the 6th. 4-3 Yankees. And that home run ties Posada for the 9th spot in franchise history with Dave Winfield, and that is it for Schilling. Posada last night a 3-run double, the league's leading hitter, the DH today, and he's 2 for 3 with a go-ahead home run here in the 6th.
Now you saw Posada taking that 2-1 splitter, and that 2-2 splitter he not only didn't take, he launched it to right to give the Yankees the lead again.
Enough to get it up and out. Yankees back out in front by 1. Schilling is gone in the 6th. Yankees lead it 4-3. Curt Schilling has been knocked out here in the 6th inning. Javier Lopez, a lefty, misses wide with ball 1 to Cano. And look at these numbers. 6 home runs allowed in 18 innings pitched against New York this season for Schilling. 6 of the 10 he's allowed all year have been to the Yankees. Cano clunks one to second. Pedroia makes the play, 1 out. On the other side, you have Jorge Posada, who hits his 205th career home run, and that ties him with Dave Winfield for 9th on the all-time Yankee list, and he is approaching number 8, bench coach Don Mattingly. The DH today, 2 more hits and home run number 7 on the year. The other home run for the Yankees belongs to Cabrera, who's at the plate, batting right-handed, takes the ball. Good numbers for Lopez, who is becoming more of a force in a very good bullpen for Boston.
Well, I'll say lowest earned run average for the Boston bullpen in the American League, and the lowest for the Red Sox so far since 1967.
Within their bullpen ERA overall of 3.01, a 1.70 ERA in their last 12 games against the Yankees. Anchored by Papelbon, the closer. Out in front of that pitch was Cabrera, strike 2. Papelbon, the closer, one of the best in all of baseball. And his numbers since taking over that spot for the Red Sox are staggering. That's into right center field and will not be caught. 3rd hit of the day for Cabrera, and Melky with 1 out will stop at second with a double. A homer, a single, a double. And he'll have at least another at bat to try and hit for the cycle.
By far the best day that Melky has had this year. So Cabrera now with the 1-out double.
5 for 6 in this series for Melky Cabrera, who will now try and settle into center field on an everyday basis for Joe Torre.
Best way to do it, the best way to look at it, you hit, you play. You don't, you don't.
He had a rotten April after hitting .280 last year with 7 home runs. But he's making up for it now. Here's Mankiewicz. 1 for 2. Ball 1. Talked about it earlier that with Giambi going on the DL, Damon will do most of the DHing with his bad legs, calf cramps and Achilles issues that he's had. And Cabrera, a much better outfielder now, will take over and he will score on the second hit of the day by Doug Mankiewicz. And it's a 2-run Yankee lead here in the 6th.
Lopez dropping down on the left-handed Mankiewicz, and when you drop down you have to make sure that pitch is on the outside, but it stays inside, and Mankiewicz handles it. The reason you drop down is you try to get the left-handed hitters to give way with that front side. Well, if you give way with the front side and you keep the ball inside, you don't want to do that. But Lopez did, and Mankiewicz took advantage of it.
The calendar has turned to June. The Yankees hope their bats are waking up. 11 hits yesterday, 11 so far today, 9 runs yesterday, 5 so far on Saturday. And ball 1 to Will Nieves, the catcher.
Good time to hit and run right here. When you have the Red Sox on the run, you've scored 4 in the inning. Hitters count. No speed on the bases, but you don't care about speed in a hit and run situation. First time in a few days that Alex Rodriguez has been caught smiling.
Changeup from Lopez. The Yankees now in their last 3 games, with plenty left in this one, have scored 24 runs, which is something Joe Torre hasn't seen on a day-after-day basis since early April. The Yankees' longest winning streak this season has been 3 games. They won on Wednesday in Toronto, won last night, and lead here today. Red Sox in the bottom of this 6th inning will have Lowell, Veritek, and Pena. Nieves 3 for 31 with the bat this season. Fooled again. It's 2-2. Side, Lowell out at second, double play. But in the inning, a knockout blow by Jorge Posada KOs Curt Schilling, gives the Yankees the lead. They add another, up 5-3 after 5.5. Welcome back to Fenway Park. The Avidart in-game box score for Boston. A hit for Lugo. Pedroia 2 more hits. So far, Youkilis has not extended his hitting streak. 3 runs have scored in that lineup for Boston. And a guy with an RBI today is Mike Lowell. Bases loaded RBI single into left his last time up, but that's the inning where Messina limited the damage. His teammates have come back to reward him with a 4-run 6th inning and a 5-3 lead. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, bases loaded in both the 4th and 5th innings, and that's why Scott Proctor is up. You got to figure that Mike Messina is teetering on thin ice right now.
2-1. Proctor is getting loose. Britton was getting up last inning. And Bruni has been one of the more effective relievers for Joe Torre so far this season. Rivera pitched last night. That's high. And it's 3-1. '87th pitch of the day coming from Mike Messina. count. Lowell, Veritek, and Willie Mo Pena. The number 9 man, Coco Crisp, is due to bat 4th in this 6th. Into left center field, right hit. Back at the wall. It's a hit on the left hand last night. Today on base 3 times, 2 RBIs, and home run number 11.
Talked earlier about how Mike Lowell is a pull hitter, likes the ball inside, leaning out over the plate, and just above the monster, just above the red line.
Now it's Veritek. Strike 1.
Joe, you don't know what's going to happen, but I think this is the right move to pitch, to have Messina pitch to Veritek, because Messina has the good changeup. Veritek, a very, very good fastball hitter. But if he gets on, Messina's out of it.
That's well hit to center field. Cabrera back, turns, tie game. It was Jorge Posada, the Yankee catcher, knocking out the Boston starter. And it's Jason Veritek, the Red Sox catcher and captain, knocking out the Yankee starter, Messina. Red Sox go back-to-back, tie the game at 5. Messina gone here in the 6th. Yankees grabbed a 2-run lead in the top of the inning. Messina gives it right back. 5 innings, 5 runs on 9 hits. Did walk 4, struck out only 1, 2 home runs allowed. And this is a well-educated fan base here in New England. When Proctor was announced and made his way in from the bullpen, they booed him lustily on his way to the mound. Pena strike 1. It was Proctor who threw up and into Euclid last night in the 9th.
And was ejected because of that. So if you're a guy like Willie Mo Pena, there is no way you look for anything inside. There is Scott Proctor, I'll guarantee you, if he comes inside, it's going to be a mistake. 2 pitches away, 2 sliders away. There's no way he's coming inside in this situation.
Add to that, while he was waiting to face Pena, he went into the home plate area and talked to the home plate umpire, Phil Cuzzy.
Right.
Where Nieves is set up. That is just outside for ball 1. Well, it was Proctor who took the conversation to Cuzzy, the heels of last night, throwing one up at the face of Euclid in the 9th inning. Down and away, and Pena strikes out. Back to the 9th inning last night, and that infuriated Euclid for good reason. Got Proctor kicked out of the game, and we heard earlier from Ken Rosenthal that Proctor will not face a fine or suspension.
Four pitches in a row, 4 sliders outside to Pena to get him.
To the base hit to right. It was Nieves doing the catching when Proctor came in last Sunday against the Angels. With the Yankees up 2-1 on the Angels, trying to avoid a sweep. And Proctor gave up a double, walked 3 in a row, was charged with another run in what was a 4-3 Angel win and a sweep over the Yankees, and a game that Mussina started and pitched very well. Here he is at Boston in a 5-5 game, only in the 6th, 1 on 1 out. Coco Crisp started and stopped. The Yankees pitch out.
You know, the way the rule is constructed right now about a pitcher being ejected, of course, you know, intense rivalry, Yankees, Red Sox, all of the things that go into it. You really take a weapon away from a pitcher when he can't pitch inside. Because if you're particularly a right-handed hitter, if you can go up there and just look away all the time, that's a considerable advantage for you.
On the outside corner, 1-1. Joe Torre is notorious for having a core group of relievers, sometimes bigger than others, that he trusts in his bullpen. Some would ask, why would you trust Proctor? He goes right back to Proctor the next day in a 5-5 game in the 6th inning.
Yep.
And now the lineup is turned over. A throw to first, and Crisp is back. You got Lugo up now, then the red-hot Pedroia and Ortiz. And now Mike Myers, because Ortiz is lurking. Joins Bruni out of the bullpen. Proctor can get excited. He's an excitable right-hander and a guy who let it get away from him last Sunday against the Angels. See how he responds here after being the center of attention in the 9th inning last night. 1-1 pitch. Runner goes, got a great jump. Stolen base, Crisp, the go-ahead run in scoring position. Number 12 for Coco Crisp.
No chance for Nieves to throw out Crisp. So once again in this inning, Scott Proctor's thrown 7 pitches to right-handed batters. 1 was a pitch out. The other 6 were all away.
Go-ahead runner. 1 out, 1-2 is the count on Lugo, who has an RBI ground out and a hit in today's game. To the shortstop, Jeter. 2 away. Again, the pitch away to the right-handed batter, and now Pedroia will step in. Kenny, do you have more on Dustin Pedroia?
Joe, he makes incredible contact, very rarely strikes out, and the Red Sox think he could be another version of Jody Reed. Remember him from the early 90s, his big years with the Red Sox, high on base guy, 40 doubles a year. At the high end of the spectrum, they think perhaps he could be what Marcus Giles was for the Braves in his best years.
Yeah, either Jody Reed type or Marty Barrett is a name that often is associated with Pedroia. Right now, just find the hottest hitter in either league, and you can link Pedroia's name to it because he has 2 more hits today, and he's up to 331 after a miserable April.
Now, you can't be everywhere, but the one thing that Bobby Abreu, the right fielder, can do here, you've got Pedroia, who is red hot with the bat, but not a power hitter the other way. You've got to cheat somewhere, and if you cheat in a couple of steps, you may have a shot at Crisp if Pedroia singles the other way.
That's into right center field. Cabrera is there to end the inning. He did go the other way, gave it a pretty good ride, but Melky Cabrera was there to haul it in. Back to back for the Red Sox. Lowell, Veritek, both starters gone. 5-5 after 6. Back from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
Top of the order for the Yankees here in the 7th inning. Abreu, Jeter, and Matsui against Javier Lopez, a left-hander, who after taking over for Schilling, who had given up the 3-run home run to Posada, as Okajima and Pinheiro get loose, allowed an extra run driven in by Minkiewicz. Made it 5-3. The Red Sox tied it. Ball one to Abreu, 2 for 3. Talking to Kevin Long, the Yankee hitting coach, first-year hitting coach, and Joe Torre, they honestly believe that Abreu is breaking out of his slump. 2 hits today, and they talk about Abreu being willing to let the ball travel farther and get a better look at pitches. Typically one of the more patient hitters in baseball. Led the league in walks last year, but walked only 25 times so far in 07. 2-1.
Well, a lot of times it's the types of hits that you get. Today, for instance, a hit to left field, line drive to left, line drive to center. You can't hit the ball the other way unless you let the ball get to you. Hitters talk about letting it come deeply to you.
Fooled on that pitch, 2-2.
Conversely, when you're pulling the ball, you're out in front, you're lunging, you're not seeing the ball well. You hear hitters always talking about things like that. So if you go into a slump, it's much worse to go into a slump trying to pull the ball than it is going into a slump hitting the ball the other way.
2-2 pitch. Stays 2-2. Abreu has only 2 home runs all year.
He jumped at that last pitch. The reason that hitters do that is pitchers make you do it. They make you do it with a breaking ball. First breaking ball he saw, you could see pulled out of there, jumping, lunging at the ball. Not the types of swings that he's had lately, but the type of swing that he had for the better part of 2 months.
Goes to strike out. Brian Honora was waiting for the appeal on his tiptoes to ring up Bobby Abreu.
And there again, Bobby out in front. You could see by that swing. And of course, the reason for that is the pitcher had something to do with it, as Brian Honora punches him out. Check swing, he didn't want to, but did.
Lopez will leave after the strikeout. Jeter coming up against Pinheiro when we come back. Tomorrow, NASCAR on Fox brings you Nextel Cup Racing, Dover, Delaware, where last year Matt Kenseth passed Ken Harvick and Jamie McMurray in the final lap to take on the checkered flag. What will happen this year? Tune in to Nextel Cup Series Racing from the Dover International Speedway tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific in high def on Fox. Here is Jeter facing Pinheiro, who, when he joined the Red Sox, the plan was for Papelbon to go into the rotation and Pinheiro possibly to be the closer. Papelbon didn't want to be in the rotation as spring training got underway. That didn't break Francona's heart. So back to the end of the bullpen he went, and Pinheiro's part of the setup relief corps for Terry Francona. Jeter's 1 for 3. Fights it off, fouls it, strike 2. Pinheiro was part of that Mariner team in 2001 that won a record 116 games with Lou Piniella as their manager. Pinheiro's now with the Red Sox, and Lou Piniella is managing the Cubs, who are 22-31 and imploding right now. Losers of 6 straight, fighting in the dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. With Matsui on deck, Okajima, the left-hander, continues to get loose. Jeter got out of the way of the pitch, didn't go. Ball 3.
Back in 2001, his first start, actually it was his second major league start. You and I did that game at Yankee Stadium, and commenting that day about the electric stuff from Pinheiro.
Here's a fly ball into left. Back at the wall. Jeter has gone deep, and the Yankees are back on top.
What a reaction. The minute Jeter hit that ball, you could see the reaction by Joel Pinheiro.
Number 4 for Jeter, and for the Yankees, their 3rd of the afternoon.
Not even bothering a hanging slider, and Jeter goes deep to put the Yankees back in front. Watch the reaction of Joel Pinheiro after the ball is hit. He knew it.
So for the 3rd time today, the Yankees have the lead, and Matsui takes a strike. Jeter has 4 on the year, 2 hits today, and the Yankees lead 6-5. 1-1 on Matsui. So a hiccup by this Red Sox bullpen here on a Saturday. Best bullpen ERA in the American League, and the Yankees have scored 2 off a combination of Lopez and Pinheiro. Two and 2. That was a Fenway Park home run, and a monster home run. Talking about the green monster, it was not blistered, but Jeter got under it, and it kept carrying over the wall and left. With 1 out, 2-2 pitch is low. Full count on deck, Rodriguez.
In Fenway Park, known for destroying the posture of right-handed hitters. A lot of right-handers leave this ballpark with their right shoulder a lot lower than their left one.
Trying to launch.
Yeah.
Get up and under it. Matsui strikes out. 2 out.
Appeared to be a splitter from Pinheiro out of the strike zone down to get Matsui.
Rodriguez has walked and scored. He's 0 for 2. He's struck out and grounded out. Base is empty, 2 away here at the top of the 7th. Rodriguez averages down to 290. He takes down and away 2-0.
Joe, we talked a couple of weeks ago about Manny Ramirez and how he plays shallow in left field. This is ridiculous. I mean, you got to play him a little deeper than that. Talked about how Jerry Remy, the Red Sox announcer, says that you got to play shallow in left field. I understand that, but he's too shallow right now. Playing deep short.
2-1 on Rodriguez. I'm not even sure that TV does it justice how close Ramirez is to Lugo, the shortstop.
With Alex Rodriguez up?
2-2. That's a little better look. That shot makes him look like he's 10 feet behind him. He's not that close, but he is way in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Rodriguez with the Yankees up 6-5. Takes ball 3. 2-count pitch. Rodriguez walks again. Second straight time he's done that. And now Posada will be the hitter, but he'll be dealing with Okajima. Francona does not want to see the Red Sox fall any farther behind. Pinheiro has given up a home run in this inning to Jeter. And Jorge Posada will turn around bat right-handed against Hideki Okajima in the 7th. Yankees up by 1. Jorge Posada will be the hitter. He is the Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. Proud to present the Pepsi Clutch Performer of the game, and he's in. For his 3-run shot against Curt Schilling ended Kurt's day in the top of the 6th and put the Yankees up by 1 at the time. They have given up what was a 2-run lead, now back in front by a run. To vote for the Pepsi Clutch Performer for the month of May and to learn more about the award and sweepstakes, visit PepsiClutch.com. Here is a revelation for the Red Sox in their bullpen, Hideki Okajima.
3 earned runs all year, 1.05 earned run average. He has just been sensational.
Pitched 12 years in Japan, had 41 career saves, and he's valuable because not only does he set up Jonathan Papelbon, because the Red Sox are being smart with how they use Papelbon, and they have built-in off days, not wanting to overtax his young arm. Okajima has been the fill-in closer when Papelbon doesn't get the ball, and he's done very well 4 out of 5 and save chances.
I think one of the secrets to his success is that you don't have to throw a strike to get one. And with Okajima, he gets a lot of strikes out of the strike zone. That first pitch was down out of the strike zone. But my observation of him so far is hitters swinging a lot of bad balls from him. Once again, you don't have to throw a strike to get one. If a hitter thinks it's a strike, then it can be more valuable than a guy who's out there throwing true strikes, regardless of how hard he throws.
In case you're wondering, Rodriguez has stolen 6, been caught 1 time this year, and Okajima, along with being hard on left-handers, very tough for right-handers to figure out. 1-0 the count. Ball 1 to Posada. 2 more hits today and a league-leading .364 average. Never has Posada put together this kind of a first half. A .426 hitter this season, batting right-handed. Into right center field, Willie Mopena and Coco Crisp. It's Crisp out of center to make the catch. A home run by Jeter in the inning. Time to stretch. Kevin Youkilis coming up for the Red Sox, trying to extend his hitting streak to 24 games. Hitless today. Due up 3rd in the bottom of the 7th. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by Lincoln. Reach higher. By New York Life, the company you keep. And by LG Consumer Electronics. LG, life's good. Here is Proctor back to work with Ortiz, Ramirez, and Youkilis, the hitters. And Proctor, after giving up a single and a stolen base, got through the 6th inning. He's back out there for the 7th. Joe Torre trying to get the ball in the hands of Mariano Rivera with a lead as Ortiz takes strike 1. David 1 for 2 with a single, a walk, a run scored, and he's grounded out. That was all against Messina, who will not get a decision here today. Neither will Schilling. The 1-1 to Ortiz, totally fooled on that pitch from Proctor, strike 2.
That's a curveball instead of the slider. It seems that Proctor reserves the ball that goes down to left-handed batters and the ball that goes away to right-handed batters. So slider to right-handers, curve to left-handers.
3 Yankee home runs today and a 6-5 seventh inning lead. Heart of the order for the Red Sox here: Ortiz, Ramirez, and Youkilis. Just up and away, 2-2. Hit in the air to right. Abreu into the corner, circles it, misses it. The ball stays in play, and Ortiz will make it only to second. Jogging around first, watching it, and Abreu misplayed the ball in right.
The biggest criticism of Bobby Abreu in Philadelphia was that he is tentative around the wall. He does not like playing a wall. And boy, does that ever show up right here. That ball was misplayed. It's got to be caught, especially with the low wall in right field. Instead of getting to the spot where he thinks it goes down, he thinks it's almost like, I've talked to outfielders about that, and it's almost like they think the wall is moving toward them. That ball has got to be caught.
Triples are hard to come by for David Ortiz. He's been battling bad hamstrings. Here's a walk to put the go-ahead runner on as Proctor puts a little zip on that pitch to show some frustration. But Ortiz was just lately jogging and watching out of the batter's box as Abreu circled around and did not make the catch in right. Meanwhile, with Youkilis coming up and a rematch of last night's meeting between Proctor and Youkilis, nobody is up and getting loose for the Yankees in their bullpen, which I find surprising.
Yeah, very interesting. And as we said, and Proctor has proven it, he has been away from all right-handed batters today. He has not thrown one ball inside. To add to that Ortiz thing, I mean, he's playing deep to begin with. So when you're deep to begin with, you shouldn't have as much of a problem with a wall because you're a lot closer to it for a guy like Ortiz than you would be with a guy like Dustin Pedroia, for instance.
Well, Proctor will deal with Youkilis. Youkilis with his 23-game hitting streak on the line, just trying to produce something here for the Red Sox, down by a run in the 7th. Proctor hit Youkilis last night in the 9th inning. And if that was the case, Tim, with the other right-handed batters going away, you have to believe you'll see more of the same against Youkilis after that last night.
Absolutely. Right on the money. Unless it's a mistake, Kevin Youkilis will not see anything inside.
And that's why I'm surprised that nobody's up for the Yankees in their bullpen.
I agree with that. I agree with you.
Proctor has struggled this season from time to time, has had bouts with wildness, has that incident last night, and now he's facing Youkilis here. And he's 3-0 with 2 on and nobody out. And the A-base is going to go out and talk. It is just after 7 o'clock in the East, and while the A-base had that quick meeting on the mound with Proctor, who now goes behind the mound and kicks at the dirt. You get the feeling the game hangs in the balance right here. A Uke chant for Kevin Youkilis up on the count here, 3-0. A 4-pitch walk to Youkilis, and the bases are loaded for the Red Sox. Rooney is getting loose. He was getting loose last inning. Guidry will make the jog out to talk to Proctor. But the Red Sox are set up now with the bases loaded, nobody out, and Lowell, who delivered in this situation in the 4th inning, gets another crack. In the 6th, he went deep off Messina. So a bases loaded single in the 4th, a home run in the 6th, and he has the bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th. Our Flomax game summary: Jeter, a go-ahead solo home run in the top of this inning. Only Youkilis has been held hitless, just walked. And each team has turned 3 double plays today. Yankees look for one here with a 1-run 7th inning lead.
I mean, you think about it, Scott Proctor is perhaps the only pitcher on either team who is pitching with the handicap today, because they are zeroing in on Proctor, and anything inside, he could be ejected again. That, I think, adds to your point about getting somebody up, and the Yankees are hopeful it's not too late.
Bases loaded, nobody out, not even close. The Yankees saw this last Sunday against the Angels. Proctor will miss and then immediately motion into his catcher Nieves. You and me. But he hasn't been close with the last 5 after getting a ball misplayed by Abreu in right. Not close, 2-0. And now Cano is going to come in and try and say the magic words to Proctor, who is a lonely man out there in the middle of this field at Fenway. A strike to make it 2-1. And Lowell looked like he was tanking all the way. To the second baseman, Cano. Run scores, a twirl by Jeter, safe at first. The ball trickles away, Ramirez scores, and the Red Sox take the lead. Minkiewicz is injured. Two-run score on the play, and Minkiewicz can't get up as he clutches the back of his head.
First of all, how Derek Jeter even got rid of the ball at second base. It was a terrible throw by Cano towards center field. A pirouette by Jeter at short. And the throw on one hop to Minkiewicz took him into, it appeared to me, Mike Lowell's knee. Look at the play by Jeter. And now a low throw. And it appears that the knee could have hit either the knee or the thigh of Mike Lowell. Could have hit Minkiewicz. Yeah, I think in the back of the head. I think Doug was hit in the back of the head by inadvertently, of course, by the left thigh of Mike Lowell right there.
Oh, wow. Wow. And you can see why he couldn't get up.
Right.
And you see the guy there with his hands on his hips, Cano. It's an error on Jeter on the play, but that was a tailor-made double play ball, and we have seen Cano do that a number of times this season. We saw it in a game at Shea a couple of weeks ago. Almost a nonchalant throw to second. It pulled Jeter wide enough to where Jeter couldn't make a strong throw to first. And not only do the Yankees not get the double play, but when the ball trickles away and Minkiewicz can't get up, the go-ahead run scores.
Right. So David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez scored. Youkilis out on the force play. And the bad throw from Cano makes Jeter make a bad throw. And the result is Doug Minkiewicz. Gene Monahan, the Yankee trainer, with the smelling salts.
They're going to go get a cart or a stretcher to help get Minkiewicz off the field.
Yeah.
member of the medical staff for the Red Sox comes out to help with the situation, but a terrible collision. A chain of events set in motion on that throw by Cano.
Get an idea of the force of the collision here, right there. Wow. Nothing Mike Lowell could have done about it.
Red Sox have taken the lead 7-6 on the error. The fielder's choice E6 RBI for Lowell, his third RBI of the day. We hope that Cavage is okay. Phelps has come in to take over at first base. And Proctor has allowed 2 runs to score. Didn't get the ground ball he needed, but then Cano let him down. So if you're Proctor, you've seen the play in right by Abreu, and then that by Cano behind you, and it's just good to see McCavish able to stand up.
Doug Mientkiewicz, of course, very popular here in Boston, a member of the championship team in 2004, caught the last out of that World Series. The Red Sox won first World Series win in 86 years against the St. Louis Cardinals. We are hopeful that he's all right.
A totally vulnerable position at first base. And the thigh of Lowell to the back of his head. On the bounced-in throw by Derek Jeter. Only 1 out in the inning. A runner at second is Lowell. 2 runs are home, and Veritek will be the hitter, and it appears that Proctor will stay in for the moment. So Lowell is the runner at second, and Cavage hearted off the field, and say a prayer for Doug that he's okay after that nasty collision. Now with members of the grounds crew out on the field, time is called, runner at second, and it looks like an intentional pass is going to be given. Those 3 guys were out in the area where the cart came on the field, so they were closing that gate out in center field, and Veritek will be walked with Willie Mopena, the next hitter. This is the 3rd intentional pass of this game, 2nd of the inning. Handed out by Proctor.
Got to be the hardest fastball on an intentional walk in the history of the game. Got to be throwing 90 miles an hour, walking Veritek.
There's ball 3. So Pena will be the hitter. 2 on, 1 out. Rooney is up and ready to go in the bullpen, but Proctor will stay in the game. Rooney and the bullpen coach Joe Kerrigan standing and watching, and now it's Pena who struck out against Proctor last inning. Pitches similar to that. Strike 1. 7-6 Boston. Runners at first and second, one out, and an 0-1 pitch to William Opeña. Instead, Proctor looks back at Lowell.
Now that's a senseless move toward second base. Mike Lowell's not a fast runner. You divert your attention somewhere else. That detracts from how you're pitching to a hitter.
Peña checked his swing and then count 1-1. At least checked it according to the first base umpire Chris Guccione. Yankees look for their fourth double play of the day. In the 8th inning, they will have, the Yankees will, Cano, Cabrera, Minkiewicz's spot. Phelps is now in that position. A 1-1. 2-1. Three times the Yankees have had the lead. 3 times have let it slip away. The 2-1 pitch to William Opeña is in for strike 2 at 97 miles per hour. To short. Jeter can't make the play, and the bases are loaded.
That's what Joe Torre and the Yankees wanted. A ball hit hard to a middle infielder. Well, they got it. Squirts through Derek Jeter's legs. Mike Lowell could have had something to do with that, shielding Jeter from that ground ball. But the second error of the inning for Derek Jeter, a rarity. Look at Lowell, who goes in front of Jeter. No, actually, Jeter had a clear shot at that. So Lowell did not in any way affect Jeter from fielding that ground ball. That's just a big old boot right there.
Hard hit off the glove. 2 errors in the inning. 3 misplays behind Proctor. The infield comes in. Crisp at the plate. And way high with ball 1. So the pressure again on Proctor, not just to get outs, but right now just throw strikes. 2 intentional walks, 3 walks total in the inning. Only 1 hit. 2 runs home, the bases loaded, 1 out, a 1-0 pitch. Shallow center field. Cabrera coming on. Can't get there. A run will score, and everybody moves up the base. It's 8-6 Red Sox.
Tell you, Cabrera had an idea, and it was the right idea. He almost came up throwing to third base, but nobody was there. Alex Rodriguez had drifted toward the middle of the infield. But you watch Jason Varitek, he's close to the second base. There would have been a play on him at third base, but there was no third baseman. You don't have 2 cutoff men in the middle of the infield. Either A-Rod or Phelps, the first baseman, shouldn't have been there. But watch A-Rod, he drifts toward the middle of the field. That means there's no play on Jason Varitek, who was close to second base, and with Cabrera's arm, he could have had a shot of at least a force play.
So Bruni is in, Proctor is out, not helped by his defense. 3 walks in the inning, 2 errors, and an 8-6 Red Sox lead.
Not on the abdomen, Cameron. Hi.
This is Matthews. I'm Steve, your Progressive Claims rep.
All right.
I inspected the damage on your car, and you're all set.
Oh, thanks so much for coming by. My insurance agent recommended Progressive because you do this kind of stuff for free. I have 4 boys, so the smallest errand is
No problem.
Yeah, okay, thanks so much. Bye. Oh, those are being quiet.
With Progressive, saving hundreds is just the beginning. Contact a local independent agent to switch today.
I dedicate this beautiful moon and all these stars to you.
How about 3 medium pizzas for $5 each?
Irresistible. That's the 5-5-5 deal from Domino's. 3 medium one-topping pizzas for just $5 each. Get the door. It's the 5-5-5 deal from Domino's.
Left my heart in San Francisco. Your golden sun will shine for me.
Live from San Francisco. The 2007 All-Star Game in HD. July 10th, only on Fox.
First pitch up and into Julio Lugo from Brian Bruni, who's had a good year. Brian had a 14-game scoreless streak snapped Wednesday in Toronto, but he has been one guy who has given Joe Torre day in and day out solid work out of the bullpen. A hard throwing right-hander. The 1-0 pitch to Lugo into center field, well hit, deep enough for the sac fly. Veritek will tag and score. Pena tags, goes to third, and it's 9-6 Red Sox in the 7th.
I'll tell you, Joe, that base hit by Coco Crisp was perhaps butchered by the Yankees as badly as you could butcher a play. Bases loaded, 1 out. Crisp gets the hit. Now freeze it right there. The first baseman, Josh Phelps, is going correctly. A-Rod should be here. Proctor, on the other hand, should be backing up home. I mean, that is butchered up so badly that the Yankees don't appear to have any clue about where anybody is supposed to go. Looks like the Keystone Cops out there. Had A-Rod been at third, there could have possibly have been a play for Melky Cabrera. But when Cabrera fielded the ball, he looked up and nobody was there, so he didn't throw.
A strike now over the outside corner to Pedroia. Dustin, 2 hits today, a .328 average. Two errors. A misplay in right to start the inning by Abreu, and then a defensive breakdown. And now Pedroia gets his 3rd hit into right field. It's 10-6 Red Sox as Pena scores. And Pedroia gets his 13th RBI of the year.
Like an inside fastball, he fights off and rifles to right field. And what an ugly inning. Of all the bad innings the Yankees have had this year, none have been uglier than this one.
On the heels of announcing that Roger Clemens will not make the start on Monday, he's been scratched from it with weakness in his right groin. It has been an error-plagued inning, misplays all over the place, walks, and another blown lead for New York.
I dedicate this beautiful moon and all these stars to you.
How about 3 medium pizzas for $5 each?
Irresistible. That's the 5-5-5 deal from Domino's. 3 medium one-topping pizzas for just $5 each. Get the door. It's the 5-5-5 deal from Domino's.
Thousands of lives are at stake. We are running out of time. Where are the bombs? Oh my God. I promise you that I track down the people responsible and I'm gonna finish this.
Are you left wanting more, or are you a card member?
I left my heart in San Francisco. Your golden sun will shine for me.
Live from San Francisco. The 2007 All-Star Game in HD. July 10th, only on Fox.
It has been a mistake-filled seventh inning for the Yankees. The misplay by Abreu started it. The error by Jeter on what was initially a wide throw by Cano. Another error by Jeter on what could have been an inning-ending double play ball. And in this seventh, the two errors by Jeter after his go-ahead solo home run in the top half. Yankees was knocked out of the game in a nasty collision at first base to be carted off the field, and now second base is handed to Pedroia as ball one misses outside from Mike Myers to David Ortiz. So Bruni faces only two hitters. Lugo a sac fly to center and Pedroia base hit to right. And a 1-0 pitch to David Ortiz is wide. 2-0 from Myers. And with Manny Ramirez on deck, another right-hander is getting loose for the Yankees in their bullpen. So after trying to squeeze 2 innings out of Scott Proctor, it's been Bruni, now Myers. And more help out there if needed. 2-0 pitch, Ortiz. Ball 3. Ortiz started this with a ball to right that Abreu couldn't catch, and now Ortiz hits it to Rodriguez. Knocks it down, makes a good play to end the inning. But the Red Sox came in trailing by a run and now lead it 10-6 after 7. Now for DirecTV, a game break. Jeannie, Kevin, and Eric. It's a 10-6 Boston lead, 8th inning now. First up, Robinson Cano, who's hitless on the day and facing Okajima, takes a ball. It'll be Cano, Cabrera, and then Phelps. And Cavich, while he was in there, was 2 out of 3 with an RBI. Nieves is in the number 9 spot. A strike from Okajima, who came on to get Posada on a fly ball to center to end the top of the 7th. The Yankees had taken a lead on a home run by Jeter, and then 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th, all 5 charged to Proctor. 2 of them were earned. Cano into center. Crisp. 1 out. Let's go to Jeannie out in Los Angeles for a game break.
Well, the Detroit Tigers have dropped 7 of their last 8 coming into the meeting with Cleveland, and the Indians decided to jump ahead early. Travis Hafner with the single. Grady Sizemore comes home, but now we are tied at 1 apiece. Top 2.
A 1-1 game there. A look at the AL Central and the Indians. Another loss, 2 out of 3 this week to the Red Sox. Really an impressive start. 4.5 games better than Detroit Tigers. The Tigers have a 6-game lead at the start of the day over the Yankees in the wild card chase.
Seems to me, Joe, that the Indians are doing this year what everybody expected them to do last year.
I agree with that. And Grady Sizemore is having a sensational season. But he is not alone. That good young lineup. Pitching has been good enough, and Borowski's closing down games. Big ERA, but he's been effective. 2-0 is the count on Cabrera, who needs a triple to hit for the cycle. Applebaum getting loose. San Francisco with a 1-0 lead over Philadelphia in the third, and Pittsburgh out in front at home over the Dodgers. Cabrera chops one to third. Lowell with a bare hand and throw. 2 out.
What a play. What a great play by Mike Lowell. Playing Cabrera deeply and then coming in to barehanded and get the speedy Cabrera.
He needed to, getting Cabrera by half a step. An applause from Okajima, who now turns to him and gives him a little nod as Phelps stands in for the first time today. With both starters out of the game, having pitched 5+ innings, this game became a battle of the bullpens, and it is apparent yet again that the bullpen for Terry Francona and the Red Sox, while having the best ERA in the American League, is superior to that of the New York Yankees.
No question.
Balance, 3 lefties in the pen for the Red Sox. Hard throwing right-handers at the back end of the bullpen for the Red Sox, and Joe Torre tried to squeeze 2 innings out of Scott Proctor, and that did not work. 2 out, nobody on, 1 ball, 1 strike. Phelps hitting .271. Strike 2. Talked about the Tigers and their record and their quest for another Central Division title. They take on the Mets next week on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. For the A's and Giants, Astros, White Sox. Coverage begins with a pregame show at 3:30 Eastern. 12:30 Pacific. 2 out, bases empty, 1-2 pitch to Phelps. 2-2. Yankees thinking this could be another step in their comeback, winning last night 9-5. Battling for a couple of leads that Messina could not hold today. Hitting 3 home runs, having a lead, but the bullpen and the defense let down the Yankees today. That's strike 3 over the outside corner, and the Yankees go in order in the 8th. Bottom of the 8th rolls in. Ramirez will lead it off. Boston up 4. 5th pitcher of the day for the Yankees is Luis Vizcaíno. Takes over for Myers in the bottom of the 8th inning. You look at Vizcaíno. Ken Rosenthal has been with us today and is with us every week. Ken, we reported that the Times is reporting that, if you can hear me over Sweet Caroline down there, that Roger Clemens will not make the start on Monday against the White Sox. Have you learned any more?
Yes, Joe. A source with knowledge of the Clemens situation tells me that Clemens thinks he'll need just 4 to 5 more days to recover from this groin issue that he's dealing with right now. That would put him in line for the Pittsburgh series next weekend. That is what he's aiming for. Now remember, the Yankees also are without their right-handed phenom Phil Hughes, who's suffering from a severely sprained ankle. He is not expected back before August.
All right, Ken, thank you. So Roger Clemens, there was some speculation he might make the start here in Boston as his big splash coming back. Did not face the Red Sox, will not face the White Sox, but could face the Pirates next weekend
at Yankee Stadium.
Manny Ramirez takes a slider on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike from Vizcaíno.
I'll tell you, I'm mystified with the wording of Clemens' injury. A fatigued groin. I mean, fatigue. Does that mean it's pulled or it's tired? I mean, certainly with the tired groin, I mean, there are a lot of pitchers that pitch with that. But Joe Torre used that term earlier, and I'm really not familiar with the term fatigued groin. Strange.
That misses ball 2-1. Well, during that stint in the minors, Clemens went 15 in the third innings, allowed 4 runs, 11 hits, 6 walks, 13 strikeouts. And was coming off 6 shutout innings against Scranton. Said to all the world that he was ready. Had quote-unquote corresponded with Joe Torre through email. Show you how times have changed. And he was fine with the Monday start. But now he is reporting that his right groin is fatigued and he will not be ready on Monday. And as we talked with Joe Torre earlier, the speculation is Kei Igawa, who has been reworking his entire pitching mechanics in the minor leagues, will be called up to make the start. More from Ken Rosenthal coming. 3 balls and a strike on Manny Ramirez. And that's strike 2. Kenny.
So keep in mind also that Clemens' contract doesn't actually start until he pitches for the Yankees. So that prorated $28 million begins the moment he takes the mound for the Yankees. He's costing himself money with this groin injury.
Some fatigue.
Or fatigue.
Somehow he's going to have to squeak by. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ramirez strikes out to start the 8th inning. We look at the career of Roger Clemens with these Red Sox. 192 wins, 3 Cy Youngs. Made his big splash with that 84 season with the Blue Jays. 2 years, 2 Cy Youngs, 41 wins with the Yankees. The 2001 Cy Young, 77 wins with the Astros. The 2004 Cy Young Award, 38 wins. And now back with the Yankees, but a guy who will turn 45 in August and who averaged fewer than 6 innings per start last year for the Astros with less work.
You and I were talking before the game, and maybe Ken has an idea about this, but I wonder how many extra tickets were sold in Chicago in the hopes of seeing Roger Clemens return to the American League on Monday. And now he's not going to pitch.
There's no doubt that wherever he went in the minor leagues, single A, double A, triple A Scranton, there was a frenzy to get seats to watch him pitch. Pitched so well his last time out on Monday, but not ready to go. And that's just another blow on the heels of what could be a game that the Red Sox, who had a 7th inning lead, and have added to that lead. And the Yankees at one point have had 3 different leads and let them evaporate. Trying to make up some ground in the division and trying to make up ground against Detroit in the wild card. 2 balls and a strike on Youkilis, and what's left for the Red Sox might be Youkilis trying to extend his hitting streak to 24 games. Up on the count here now, 3-1. The longest in the big leagues this season is the current one by Ichiro. So will the hitting streak continue? Let's go to Jeannie Zelasco for a game break.
We have a home run from San Francisco. No, it's not Barry. How about Kevin Franson? Look what he does for the Cole Hamels pitch. San Francisco up 1-0 early after routing the Phillies 13-0 last night. How about the Dodgers in Pittsburgh? Tough first start of the season for Hung Chi-Po. 5 of the first 6 batters reached. Pirates collect 2 runs. It's 2-1 bottom 6.
Thank you, Jeannie. Big day for Mike Lowell. 3 RBIs, a home run, 2 runs scored plus a walk. 1 on, 1 out. And a ball from Vizcaíno. Just so you know, the Red Sox record for a hitting streak, Dom DiMaggio, 34 games in 1949. Nomar is a rookie in 97, hit in 30 straight. And it appears that because of, at least in part, to 3 walks on the day, unless the Yankees make a miraculous comeback and we play extra innings, or this is a big eighth, the 23-game hitting streak for Youkilis will end. That's inside, 2-1. A little better velocity from Vizcaíno, who during the last half of the month of April was getting worn out of the bullpen with the ineffective starting pitching that the Yankees were running out there.
Yeah, pitchers talk about having their legs underneath them, and it appears that his legs, his balance is much better, and he's throwing the ball a lot harder.
Breaking ball in for a strike. It's 2-2. Messina went 5 through 90 pitches. Proctor, an inning and a third, allowed 5 runs, only 2 of which were earned, 38 pitches. And Bruni, Myers, and now Vizcaíno. That's low, 3-2. Will come to the plate. Throw by Jeter, not made. Another run. It's 11-6.
What a day for Mike Lowell. He has been all over the bases. His 3rd RBI. He scored a couple of runs. Youkilis scoring easily as he was off at the pitch. Puts it in overdrive, rounding 3rd. Scores without a play. Mike Lowell, what a ball game he has played.
Now Veritek. Papelbon is just tossing lightly for the Red Sox in their bullpen as Boston has opened up a 5-run lead. It appears that we will see Papelbon maybe just to get an inning in here today, even though it won't be a save situation. Ball 1 down and in. Saw that update with the Giants and Phillies. And Jeannie referenced the home run not from Bond, who is 10 home runs away from the new all-time career record. He's at 746. 756 is a new record and will dethrone Hank Aaron. Bonds 1 for 2 in that game. No home runs against Philly so far today. Giants will be in one of our matchups 2 weeks from today against Boston. Here's a toss to Vizcaíno covering for out number 2. But what I can't understand, and you and I talked about it about a month ago, Tim, and you said that the commissioner not made up his mind as to whether he was going to be there. And I said, well, I was mistaken. You were totally right. And he has still left that hanging in the balance. And in my opinion, there's no way that the commissioner cannot be there.
I agree.
To honor that record.
I agree.
Here's a guy in Bonds who has not failed a Major League Baseball steroid test. We can all look at old pictures. We can all look at new pictures, make comparisons.
Yep.
Look at circumstantial evidence. Whatever you want to look at. But if he is not there as commissioner, what is he, in his absence, saying about the Major League Baseball drug testing policy?
Yeah, that's
right. I mean, that condemns it right there, saying, well, here's a guy who's going to break the all-time record. But I'm not going to be. He has to make a reasonable effort to be there to celebrate it for a guy who has not, no matter all the circumstantial evidence or whatever we may all think, has not failed a Major League Baseball steroid test. The commissioner has to be there.
I agree with that.
Hank Aaron can do whatever Hank Aaron wants.
Yeah, sure.
He's in a no-win situation because of those very questions. But you are condemning your own policy by not being there. 0-1 is the count on Willie Mopane with a runner at third. 2 out and a run home. Strike 2. Lowell, the runner at third, 2 out, no balls, 2 strikes on Willie Mopena. Inning is over. We go to the 9th, last chance for the Yankees. Red Sox add a run and lead by 5 here at Fenway. A look at the season series between the Yankees and the Red Sox as we get ready for the 9th inning here today. Yankees have blown leads and lost in 5 of the 10 games that they've matched up. Boston has outscored the Yankees 31-8 from the 7th inning on, to underline the point we made about the 2 bullpens and the difference between the 2. And the Yankees have blown 3 leads today, 2 times with Messina on the mound, once with Proctor, who stands to be the loser. Our Chevrolet player of the game is Mike Lowell. He hit on the hand last night. Didn't know if he would answer the bell today. Well, he did. Lowell went deep. Ends up driving home 4 runs on the day and scoring 3 times. In recognition of his outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to Major League Baseball's youth outreach program, reviving baseball in inner cities. Chevy, an American revolution. And to give the Red Sox fans one more chance to boo, Applebaum takes over, and Johnny Damon is first up for the Yankees, batting for Will Nieves. Damon is trying to get healthy, 3 out of his last 20. We're hitting .299 since the 4th of May. But his legs are so banged up and his calves are cramping, and an Achilles situation, a bad left arm, that he is basically going to be the DH, with Cabrera, a much better outfielder now, taking over center. High hop, Euclid, Papelbon, 1 out. Coming up tonight on Fox as we approach 8 o'clock in the East. All new tonight. Cops, a full hour, and America's Most Wanted. 1 out, nobody on, and Abreu, who's misplaying right, opened the floodgates for a 5-run 7th inning on a ball that got behind him, hit by David Ortiz with Proctor on the mound. 5 runs on only 3 hits of that inning. 3 walks and a couple of errors mixed in. Ball 1. A 1-0 to Abreu is right down the middle, a ball and a strike. Abreu was called out on strikes back in the 7th. Didn't like the call and didn't like this high strike. 1-1. Eight for his last 41 against the Red Sox is Abreu with 0 RBIs. After coming into this season, a career .338 hitter against Boston with 23 RBIs in 36 games. He and Matsui have cooled off against Red Sox pitching. 2-1 pitch. Been 196 from Papelbon.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of players playing against the Red Sox that are going to cool off against this pitching staff. This is a deep pitching staff that the Red Sox have assembled. Great starters, great bullpen, great closer. Not much left.
Blown right by Abreu's bat, full count. his career against the Yankees, the Red Sox closer Papelbon, 4 for 5 in save chances, 1 earned run in 13 innings pitched. Abreu walks with 1 out.
That was close. I think the check swing and throwing the bat at the same time made it appear that he didn't go through. That was very, very close.
I agree. We've seen check swings today that have gone as strikes. That one here in the 9th inning. Ball 4 instead of strike 3. And here is Jeter, who homered his last time, doubled his first time, and committed 2 errors in that 5-run 7th inning the Red Sox put together. Abreu takes second. The fielder's indifference and no stolen base awarded to Abreu. But why not? Take it if they give it to you. Jeter up, Matsui to follow, Rodriguez. Red Sox lead by 5. The 0-1. Terry Francona and John Farrell have been very diligent as to how they're using Papelbon this year after he ran out of gas last year. 3.5-hour game today. That does not include the 28-minute delay that we had back in the 4th. Strike 2 on Jeter. So if you're going to TiVo a Red Sox-Yankees game, clear some space before you hit record, or you'll lose Oprah and Dr. Oz talking about some miraculous cure-all. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jeter. Jeter fights it off, grounds to short. Lugo, 2 out. Red Sox 1 out away from their 37th win of the year. Record-wise, they're off to their 4th best start in team history coming in through 53 games at 36-17. And Francona's team, Terry Francona's team, can beat you in a lot of ways.
Packed house, of course, here at Fenway Park, and about 80% of them are actually rooting for Hideki Matsui to get on, so A-Rod will have a chance to make the last out of the game. That's why a lot of them still hung around, I would imagine.
He's on deck. Matsui at the plate. Blistered over the inside corner, strike 1. Temperature has really dropped since that rain shower in the 4th. The 2 out, Matsui takes ball 1. Just a final word on Doug Mickavich, who was in that collision at first base with Mike Lowell. He's been taken to Mass General Hospital for precautionary tests. During his head and neck. The left thigh of Lowell banging into it at the first base bag. A 1-1 pitch, runner at second, 2 out. Ball 2. Faithful may get their wish, if they are indeed wishing for that. Rodriguez would be next. On the corner, full count. should do it. Lugo out. Red Sox win it 11-6. So the Yankees and Red Sox have split the first 2 games of this 3-game set. A 3-hour, 40-minute game. Okajima the winner. Proctor the loser, 0-3. And it means that the Red Sox, at the moment, have a 10.5 game lead in the division. Meanwhile, the Yankees fall back to 13.5 out, where they were at the start of last night's game. With a game to go tomorrow night, Pettit and Beckett in the finale. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Good slate of games next week. Fox Saturday Baseball, Interleague Baseball, Mets and Tigers in Detroit. The A's, Giants, Astros, and White Sox starting at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Tomorrow, don't forget, NASCAR on Fox will be at the Dover International Speedway beginning at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific in HD. For Ken Rosenthal, Pete Macheska, Billy Webb, and Tim McCarver, I'm Joe Buck. Red Sox win it. Good night from Boston.